Ready for the grimiest and grittiest of all podcasts, pro wrestling, music, and entertainment is the EWOKK and JB Show.
Hey, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy, the EWOKK, coming off the W at Quality Pro Wrestling. This is the EWOKK and JB Show. You know, we threw a little curveball at you tonight. You know, our original guest couldn't make it tonight, but, you know, we got the even better guest, Mr. Moneymaker Mike. Say what's up. Say what's up. Come on, what's up with you, bro? What you been doing?
Hey, all I know, I'm not J-Rock. I don't claim to be J-Rock, but I will gladly sit with you two gentlemen any day of the week and talk wrestling, talk about life, talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Shit, you M Rock today. You know what I'm saying?
So hey, I'm excited. I appreciate the call, and I think we're going to have some fun tonight.
Damn, like your new home's looking dope behind you.
You like that? You like that background? Yeah. Looking, like I got some crazy like wicked tree behind me, and a huge living room with some probably that dining room table is probably more money than I've ever made in my life. But
damn, shit, Lowell looking kind of fancy shit.
Yeah, he must be part of the wonderful, bright and shiny part of Indiana where it's like 9 o'clock here at night. Mm-hmm. Either which way, man. Michael, thanks for jumping on board with us tonight. With J-Rock, I'm not going to go into any details. All I ask for anybody, just pray for him and his family. They definitely need it. Good people all the way through. But yeah, Michael Allen, in my opinion, is probably one of the best kept secrets in a wrestling business. Now, I've said this forever about you, Mike. You work with us, of course, at Chicagoland, but it's just truth. You have a great mind for booking. You have a great mind for business ideas and how things could be done or how things should be, presentation wise. And on top of that, man, you're just one of the most professional guys anyone could work with. Like you're a utility man. It's like how me and EWOKK are. Whatever promoter needs, yeah, you got them.
Shit. Mike know good food. He funny as hell. Like he just like Moneymaker Mike. You make me laugh just in passing. Like there's little dumb things that you say. I remember one time we had a show, and like something's going on in the ring, and then the dude takes one of the girl wrestlers. He was like, "Yo, no, don't take her in the back with the boys." and I started laughing like hard. I might have to edit this out, but who cares, man? We just straight shooting tonight. But it's just like just
that was the hardest I've ever seen you laugh around me was that day when I did that. Oh man, you lost it. It was good. I was like, man, I got EWOKK. EWOKK's usually he's pretty, he's always pretty chill. He'll give you a little chuckle, but man, I got him full belly laughing on that one. It takes some effort.
I still laugh the night the time we all went to go see Wrestle League in Berwyn, and Michael had a couple of drinks in him. And the girl that comes out with Quinn and Big Adam, the chick does like the zombie looking makeup and stuff. You know what I'm talking about, EWOKK? Yeah. And instantly you see like Michael was like freaking the hell out. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, he's creepy." He's like, he says it out loud.
And you can just hear him.
The whole entire building started laughing.
That girl's freaking me out from 20 feet away. I was sitting there going, man, if she gets any closer to me, I'm leaving. Like that's how good she was portraying that character. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
And you my food partner, man. After shows that you at, bro, we always eating good. Like there was a time that we waited for a damn near 2 hours to get waited on, and we almost caused the racket. We almost tore the whole fucking place up trying to eat. Like me and you both. We were so hungry.
Oh yeah, my boy EWOKK. And I know that if I'm gonna go out with him, we're gonna find a good spot, we're gonna eat good, and we're gonna laugh. And I know every time that's how it's gonna go down. Every time. And that started back in the day. I mean, might even started IPW. I'm trying to think when we first started. After a few Rocker Pro shows, we've done some meals for sure.
Oh, most definitely some good ones, some hole in the walls, but they were still good meals, good times, good laughters. some
And
some Pete
John's
some
got me
pizza.
some. Yeah, John's got some good ones out in Michigan City too. That he's found some.
Yeah,
local ones.
there was a pizza one where like it was like me, you, Yoya, some other people, but somebody like didn't pay us for the check, and I was mad about that. You know.
Oh yeah, that was after what show was that?
It was after Wrestle League, actually.
Was it
Yeah,
after
it was
Ripple?
Berwin.
Yeah. Yeah. What was so funny about that whole thing was like Yo-Ya and his crew was there, but it was that one kid who rode up with him. Didn't wrestle, wasn't a wrestler at all. And he was eating more slices than the workers were, man. And I was like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I remember I looked at Yo-Ya and was like, is this guy a wrestler? And they're all like, no. I was like, why is he eating all your fucking pizza then?
Yeah.
Like, I was like,
Yeah, he ate half the pizza on that side of the table, and I'm looking around like, and I don't think he put a dime down at the end of the night either.
not one dime. That kid was the ultimate worker, though, man. You think about this. He rode in a car full of wrestlers, right?
Mm-hmm.
He almost got booked at the Wrestle League show because he was a worker.
No, he did get booked, but he was like, Yoda was like, nah, he ain't no wrestler. This is like the homie. And he was just doing bumps and shit, running the ropes. I was like, damn. So like it kind of goes to show is that easy getting booked. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta you know what I'm saying? Is that easy getting booked? Like if he was just some random kid and was like, okay, I want to do a wrestling match, it could happen. You know what I'm saying? He was there, right place at the right time. That's what I'm talking about. You just be at the right place, right time when it comes to wrestling. You might get booked, but that goes behind
that. You got some kid in the ring, rides up there, not even really, might have maybe trained maybe a few days, gets in there bumping, gets a match, probably hurts somebody, acting crazy. All because he rode for some nice meals for free and for a free ticket to a show. And I mean, Lord knows he probably hung out with all the guys for the whole week or however long they're up there. And yeah, riding coattails, baby.
The ultimate worker.
Mm-hmm.
Like seriously, like because when I first saw him, I was like, "Oh, is he a wrestler or a referee? Like, what?" And everybody was like, "No, no, not at all." And I'm like, "Okay, did he drive? Did he at least be your guy's chauffeur?" No. Yo-Ya did all the driving, and I was like, "Yo-Ya, bro, no." I was like, "Let me give you some veteran advice here, brother. If he ain't contributing, you boot him on the nearest like gas station.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you ain't paying for gas? Okay, brother, that's no problem. Hey, go in that Circle K real quick and pick me up something to drink. Here's some money. Give him like $5.
Mm-hmm.
Drive off, leave him. And just go. I've done it before. To people.
Oh, you left people before?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
bro, I was on tour like I want to say 4 years ago. I did the same thing. This is when I started getting into edibles. This is like when I started. This is when I started eating edibles, like the first time, like ever. My first tour in California. I eat it like I'm in a band with like at least 7 people. So I eat an edible before like San Jose. Like we're leaving. I think we're going to Sacramento or something like that. And so we driving, we stop. Everybody gets out, takes a piss. I think everybody's in the car, but like the edible's kicking in. So I pull off. So I pull off. And I'm like, whatever, guy got it on cruise control. Ain't nothing stopping me. We get a call on somebody gets a call on their phone. And it's like, yo, like you guys dipped, stop fucking with me. Tell me why we left the drummer at this whatever the fuck it was in San Jose. Mind you, I've been driving 2 hours, thinking everybody's asleep. And so I had to drive all the way back, or I drove halfway back, and somebody had to take the wheel after that because I was I was all over the place. But
you had to go back 2 hours to get them.
Yeah, because we were all like yeah, because I'm thinking everybody's in the car and because everybody was asleep. Like it was that night and it was after a show, so everybody's I'll pop an edible, just one for the road, and then these fools, everybody's sleeping and somebody gets a call. And it's like, yo, like stop fucking with me. Like I've been here for 2 hours. Like, you guys left me. And he wasn't in the best spot. It was like one of those like side road spots where Confederate flags all over the place and shit. And this dude's black.
Oh, God.
So like You better find your ride now, boy. That's basically what he said happened. It was like, yo, like, just don't go wander around. You can just stay here, but this ain't the spot for you to walk around, bro. And then so 2 hours later, we we get this kid. So we basically miss our sightseeing, picking this dude up. So basically, like we're already 2 hours back, and then we gotta drive another 2 hours and then go forward. So yep, that boy was waiting for 4 hours at a random gas station.
God, it had to suck.
Did he start punching people when he got in the car?
No, he ain't punching me because I'll choke him out. That boy weighed 96 pounds. He'll get smacked in the mouth. He knew not to fuck with me. Hey, shout out to my boy Mike Robbs.
Yeah, there you go.
I know you watching this.
Salutes Mike.
Yeah, Mike Robbs, man.
Oh man.
Oh my God. But yeah, that was advice I was always taught was if someone isn't chipping in on the car ride or they're not paying for gas or not at least doing something to pull their weight, you don't need them. That's just dead weight in your car. And that sounds like a dick thing to say to somebody, but it's just how it is. It's like, if I'm getting the opportunity to ride with me or I'm giving the opportunity to ride with you, you better believe I want to chip in on gas or I'll be your navigator to keep you awake, buy coffee for everybody, whatever needs to be done, you do it,
So there was a situation that happened earlier this week, kind of like the same thing like this week. That's why I got asked, well, what do you feel about like coattailing, like people like following other people's bookings? Well, like how do you feel about that? Is like I feel like after this situation that happened this week, I feel like there's the right way to do it and there's the wrong way to do it. The person that approached me, no names, this is a no name podcast. If I'm talking about you, I'm talking about you. Some dude hit me up. He's like, hey, how you getting to Tennessee? I was like, yo, like me and my boy driving, And he was like, what time you leaving? I was like, man, like maybe when I get up, maybe 11, 12. I don't know. All right. Who's the driver? And I was like, yo, it's my boy so-and-so. He hits buddy up and say, give me a spill. Let me ride down with you. Not knowing that my boy does not know him. He legit added my boy. he legit added my boy and asked him, can he be on that show? Or on to ride to that show, and it don't work like that. I don't think it like personally it don't work like that. He's like, oh, I'm homies with Desmond. Like you ain't homies with me. Like we ain't even drunk a beer. Like I've only met you twice, my dude. Like some people need to get the hint, and then that was the situation. I felt bad about it, but at the same time, like you can't like, oh, if EWOKK got that booking in Tennessee, I'm better than EWOKK, so I'm gonna try to coattail his bookings. And that's how I feel about sometimes, because it's like I see it sometimes. I'll be getting shows, and like after that, you see like, hey, how'd you get that booking, or who do I hit up for that booking? Like I'll give you the information, but it don't mean that you're gonna get booked because like I'm on the show. It's like I'm putting in work. I'm hitting these people up. I'm getting fed like a billion no's, saying before I get a yes, or somebody that sees something in me and like a promotion is looking for something, and like my friend knows the right person, and I get put on the road, just like the situation in Tennessee. Like my boy Rockin' knew like somebody that could work that style up there, and he brought me. And it's like it goes into what might work for me might not work for you. And it's like, yo, like if you're gonna follow somebody on a booking, do it the right way. Don't do it the shitty ass way. Make sure you know these people, because at the end of the day, motherfuckers making fun of you because you doing shit the wrong way. You're supposed to be a veteran. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like, how you feel about that?
To me, there is a right way to get a booking, or at least get involved with the car ride. To me, I've always felt that if you ask someone politely, do you guys have another spot in your car? I'll chip in on gas. 95% of the time, that's what I'm saying. That's the problem with the young generation, man. It's not me hating on young people, by the way. Please, if anybody listens to our podcast, I don't hate on young people, but there's a lot of young people that haven't been taught the proper way to do business. This is me giving you guys a little proper education on business on this. If there is a open car seat on a car ride to go to a show, chip in on gas. Doesn't matter if you're booked or not. So let the guy know, like, how far are we going to go? Oh, it's an 8-hour drive. Okay, cool. I'll throw in a 20. That $20 go a long way on someone's car mileage.
Oh,
You know, put some gas in a tank. You're riding with somebody. Hey, let's stop by a store real quick. I'll buy some coffee or whatever someone wants to drink, Monsters, whatever. Chip in on that. Make sure your driver's awake. You know, make sure that, you know, if you need, you know, if you have a license, some guys don't have a license, but the ones who do, hey man, if you're going to fall asleep, let me take over the wheel. I'll drive for you. That way we get there. These are all proper ways to get yourself involved in writing down to a show. But the problem is most guys will see so-and-so's friends with so-and-so. Oh, well, let me go hit him up. And the problem with most guys do, they'll like Desmond said, they'll name drop. And then someone will go back and reference it and go, no, I didn't send them your way.
No, like I
okay, you know,
like I just feel like it's just like I'm trying to get my foot in the door in a lot of places. Like I'm like my foot's barely in the door. Like I'm still green in wrestling, you know what I mean? And once I get to a point where I need to be, I already have my set of people that are hungry and ready to go. And you know what I mean? Like I still have to pay it forward and pay back Rock Rivera, your Quinn Wittix, you know, these are the people that are taking me with them to shows. You know what I mean? Like I'm not asking them, like they see something in me, see me putting in work, and they ask me to be on these shows because they feel like, hey, this organization might need an EWOKK in it, you know? And like that's how some things work. That's why I always like put myself out there, you know what I'm saying? Like if I drive up there, I don't mind taking like 2 or 3 motherfuckers with me, but it's just like the people I take with me are gonna be people that I see putting in work. You know what I'm saying? Like especially like if I see somebody that, like, especially if I don't know you, like if I really don't know you, you maybe you've came to a Russell League practice once or twice and you like dapped up real quick, or maybe we're in the same locker room. Maybe you gave me a little advice. Like that don't mean that I know you. That don't mean that we homies. Because I'm a very loyal ass motherfucker. Because if you use my name and say we homies, that means something real personal to me. And then like if we ain't homies and you trying to use my name for a come up in or booking, I like you already done with me. You ain't like you ain't never gonna use my name again because your name is like, nah, don't book that fool unless he hits you up politely or apologizes to me or something like that. But
the right thing he should have done was at that point asked you, hey man, I know you. I don't know your friend. I don't know the guy, the guy that was driving.
Yeah, so, can you hit him up for me?
Yeah, if he would hit him up, hey, you mind putting in a word for me? I'd like to go down on the show. I'm willing to chip in for gas. I'll buy you guys a sandwich. Hey, whatever it is, but hey, go through you because you're the chain he knows. Don't be going around adding people on Facebook, name dropping like you're somebody. I'm not gonna let some random dude in my car I've never seen that just added me on Facebook, asked me to go to the show. Like, no, like that. It doesn't even make any sense that's the way he went about that. Like I said, he should have went through you.
Man, like he tried to, but he didn't. Who's driving? Also, so you're just gonna hit up the driver for the booking, or trying to get a booking. All not Des. Like I know the promoter. Hey, Des, can you hit up the promoter? Here's my stuff. Here's my screenshot. Like here's my promo video. Like all that stuff. Like I could hit the promoter up and see, he would have responded back to me. My friend, he knows the promoter more than I do. So like he could have hooked you up. But like don't use that we homies. Like, me. We ain't homies. And I don't mean to sound like a dick, but like we ain't homies.
No, like in the wrestling business, if you use your name on someone and they really screw something up, I mean it torches your name and you don't need that.
Yeah, and or like
you don't even know this guy.
Yeah, and I'm very like if you use my name, like you said, if you use my name, this kid hurt somebody, or he's just a total jerk to these people. Oh, damn, that's the crew that the EWOKK rolls with. Ooh, nah, I can't really fuck with the EWOKK no more.
Yeah,
and it's like, yo, you just messed up your money and my money. You know what I'm saying? And then right now, like it really ain't about money. I love this. Like I want to keep wrestling in Tennessee. I love it out there, man. I love it out there. So
Tennessee's nice, man. I guess that's a good spot, even for going to get in a cabin and just kind of chilling for the weekend, getting away from everything. It's great.
Yeah, I had cookout for the first time yesterday.
Did you?
Nice. Oh my God, dog, that shit is amazing. It's delicious. Have you ever had cookout, John?
Oh yeah, dude. I grew up in
Oh
the
man,
South, man. So like, that's like every Sunday, you know.
bro, that shit, yeah, I got put on heavy,
Yeah,
bro. It was
Southern
Belize,
Southern cooking is something else, man.
and I want to hit a Bojangles up too, but I had like they're all closed.
They still got Perkins. They got still got Perkins rolling around down there.
I didn't see no Perkins, but all I saw was Bojangles, and then I saw we went to the cookout because I needed my cookout cherry pop,
Absolutely.
so that ended up getting it cracking.
Little
One
Waffle
of,
House here and there.
one of the things that I used to see a lot of people do on Facebook that kind of kills me too. You'll see a lot of veterans will actually post, "Hey guys, I have a seat in my car available. If one of you rookies or one of your young guys want to take a ride with me, I can at least introduce you to the promoter, but I can't promise you the booking." And I talked to a lot of these veterans about this, and they say, "Yeah, no one ever hit me up for it."
Wow.
And I'm always mind boggled by that. I'm like, man, anytime when I was wrestling, anytime I was just doing whatever, if I remember many a times, and shout out to one of the guys who used to do this for me when I was really breaking in, John Strange. Strange would always hit me up. "Hey man, I'm driving through your area. You want me to pick you up? We'll go to the show." I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, John. Wherever you need, And I don't know how many times me and John would ride back and forth, just going to shows, and John would sit there and tell me stories and, dropping a little knowledge and different things we would talk about. I mean, I've always valued that stuff, man. Like a rookie who's never had the privilege of actually riding in a car with veterans really is missing out, because most of the time, if you ride with a real veteran, if you sit back, shut up, don't play the music, don't put on your earbuds, and actually sit there and talk to them, a lot of veterans will start telling you stories. They start talking about psychology. They'll start breaking things down for you, give you a little life experience. And it's like, holy shit, like you learn a lot in car rides. That's why I feel bad for a lot of people in wrestling today, where we don't have a territory system no more, where guys used to ride to town and wrestle 4 nights a week. Now it's maybe once a month or once every other week. And most time guys don't want to ride with another group of guys. They just, "Oh, no, I'll drive by myself." And I'm like, yeah, but you don't really learn anything from that.
Mm-hmm.
Or
The
the guys who
experience.
want to be, or people who want to fly all the time. "Yeah, I have to fly." Like, okay, I understand if it's like 16, 20 hours, but 8 hours, you can't carpool with a group of workers and chit chat about stuff and pick their brain. Like, come on now.
Eight
You
hours
know,
is pretty much the. I mean, you think about that. That's a classic wrestling car ride. 8 hours. I mean,
Six,
that's
yeah,
yeah.
our ride yesterday was 6 hours. I was at my boy house at 12. We got there an hour before doors, and then I had to go to work the next day, so like we dipped after both of our matches. We said peace out, thank you for having us again, and we drove home. We got home at like 3 a.m., got a little sleep, woke up. It's a 6 hour drive both ways just for a 10-minute match, and that's what you got to do. And it's just like, it's one of those things, is like, if you're willing to do that and not wrestle, just to sightsee and ham it up and network with the promoter, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't even working, you pay for a ticket too. So you drove all the way, you had to pay people gas, had to pay for snacks, and then you had to pay for the show, and then you just sat there and watch. But you got to talk to a whole bunch of new group of wrestlers, man. You got to network with a whole new group of wrestlers. Maybe next time, hey, Des, bring that so-and-so kid down again. I got a match for him. You know what I'm saying? That like, if you really do love this, you really want to get ahead in this business, you got to do shit like that. Like, I know people that ain't even wrestling on shows, but they was like, you know what? There's a show probably 2 hours away. Hey, let's get in the car and just go over there and ask the promoter to help them. You know what I'm saying?
prime example of a guy who got a job with Chicagoland. Chip Walker showed up on our October show. The day before the show, he helped set up the ring, helped set up the chairs with me and Michael. Didn't ask for a booking. He showed up and helped because he was a local guy. Then the day of the show, he shows up, stood by the door, make sure no one didn't like skim off tickets. And then when I needed help with like fans getting directed to their seats, he directed fans to their chairs and helped them out. Then after the show was done with, he helped take down the ring and helped us with like cleaning up and everything. didn't ask for a booking. I talked to him. I said, "Hey, man, next show is supposed to be in April, but it's now in June." I said, "You're booked." I said, "You showed up and you did more than most guys would have done. And I've seen you wrestle before. Mike has too. Chip's a solid talent, man. He's got potential to be our area's Kurt Angle very easily."
I like that. I like Kurt Angle.
Yeah, dude, he's a suplex machine. He's like Brent Albright, Gary Albright, suplex machine. And I was like, dude, you forever have a job here because that dedication, you can't buy that.
And people don't want to put the groundwork. People don't want to put in the groundwork, man. People don't want to do what it takes. It's just like there's nothing wrong with like I always say, there's nothing wrong with hit me up, like for promos and whatever people do. But when I give them a $60 price and $10 for editing, I never hear from them again.
Yeah,
but it's just like people don't want to pay that money for quality. People don't want to put in the groundwork. They just want to, hey, EWOKK got an opportunity. Oh, let me see if I could ride with him, get his opportunities. No, man, I'm still trying to get my foot in the door of these spots, man. Don't get it twisted. I'm working, bro. Like I'm working hard. There's things in my life that right now that is just like I gotta take care of this. But at the same time, I'm trying to go to the gym and straight up and try to train. You know what I mean? And go to work.
There's no denying your work ethic. There's no denying that you put in not only work in the gym, like you said, look at the shape you got yourself into. Like on top of that, you're constantly in the ring, and then like you said, you're online, you're doing promos, you're helping people out by doing the video editing, doing things for others. Like there's no doubt that you're working and you're trying to excel in this business. Like you're not sitting back and trying to let it come to you. You're trying to go get it, that's people are going to notice that. And like I said, and your style is different too, because like you said, you have an ability to capture the crowd when you start talking. And then on top of that, also your ring style, you got that suplex style, you got the hard hit you in the mouth type style, which is what ended up being perfect for this belt that you hold. So I mean, you've already built yourself a brand, which is that's what you need, man, in this business. There's a lot of guys that do the same stuff, but it's what you do that makes you stand out. That's what the difference is. Like, so the fact that you're doing stuff that no one else is doing, it's going to make you stand out. There's a lot of guys who might look exactly like you, or there's a lot of these like 6 foot, 200-pound guys that they might be like built like brick shit houses, but then they have no character and nobody cares about them. So you go in the ring and you're wrestling and you, like you said, you don't put any work into your character. You don't do anything like that. Next thing you know, like, why do I want to book this guy? He's boring. Nobody cares. He doesn't get any reaction from the crowd. He has no character. Like, just because you look good and you can do a few moves, like look at all the cruiserweights that are like killer workers that have no characters that can't get booked, or they get booked and people are like, like they don't see anything in them. Like look what happened to like some of the 205 Live guys, like in WWE. Like it's just a shame to see, when you don't have that character working, you don't have that stuff that stands out. You don't make it. You don't get above the rest. You don't get yourself on TV. You don't get yourself in front of the camera and get booked. I mean, unfortunately, it is what it is. So, but you work on your character. You do that kind of stuff. That's the difference.
So you got to have that Macho Man theory. So you got to be, speaking of Macho Man, you got my little micro baller and shit.
Oh, yeah.
But like you got to tap into that. It's kind of like what's the method actor do? Daniel Day-Lewis.
Perfect example, man. He gets in when he's on set. When he did Abraham Lincoln, anybody would try and talk to him like Mr. Lewis, he would never respond to him. So would they say, Mr. President? He'd turn around and address him and talk like he's Abraham Lincoln. He was always, in every role he played, he lived the character. Mm-hmm. And to me, man, when I look at you, you're like Taz and Eddie Kingston had a love child.
Oh, you saw my post the other day, huh?
No, I didn't see that part. No, but I mean, but that's when I start. When I got to really know you, I was like, that's you are the bonification, real deal, Bronx, New York. You're gonna come in, drink a beer, punch someone in the face, have a good time afterwards, type of guy, and to me, what makes that great is that's really you. That's really how you are. And people like that because people can relate to that. Everyone has a friend like that or knows somebody like that. You're like you're the Mike Tyson of Chicagoland, bro.
The first time I saw you work at IPW, I came to the show as a fan. When when I was first started to show up over there, and I'll never forget. I saw you come out and I saw you start working, and I'm like, man, I saw a lot of Taz right away. And then afterwards, like you said, every time I watched you, you got better every time you worked. And then, like you said, now that's like night and day. Now you're a character on our show that people want to see. You hold the urban honor crown. You got the Smash Mouth style. You got like a certain aura about you when you come out. Like I said, it's just that's what you needed. That's what you needed to do, and then you did it. You went out and you worked hard, and you continue to work hard. Like I said, the first time I saw you wrestle compared to now, it's like it's unbelievable how much you've improved from then. And that was how long? What, a couple years ago?
Yeah, a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for your kind words. But we got to elevate it. Got to elevate that game.
Yeah, well, you can tell. I mean, you can tell like when people put the work in, and you can tell. You definitely want to say something because you want people to understand that their hard work's not being, it's definitely being noticed. It's not something that take for granted.
And like they ain't like nothing wrong with like, just like, hey, I'm gonna be on the like I'm gonna try to get as many rides as I possibly can. There's nothing wrong with that, but just like ask politely, just ask like a little bit more professionally, because once you do that, you're golden. Like stop hitting up people that you don't know. Mm-hmm. Like if like real shit, if somebody is the promoter of the brand, don't add them on their personal thing. Like some people do if they know them. Hey, like I'm gonna be in town this week. Like let me get at you. Hit up the actual page. You know what I mean? Hit up the actual page. Like do that and then find out what the email address is and then send them an email or the same thing. if they don't answer. If they read it, they read it.
It's being professional. You already said it. It's being professional. That's the key. A lot of people, they don't, like you said, a lot of the younger generation might not understand how to be a professional, or they might not have been with the right veterans around them, or they might have been brought up in a place that wasn't all that professional, so they don't understand like the need to be professional when you're trying to do this.
Yeah,
it's a business. It's not a joke. It's a business. You have to be professional.
And I said this on the first episode. It's all about who you vouch for and who vouches for you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If you vouch for a bunch of people that burnt bridges, that can't get booked nowhere else because their attitudes and their work ethic and like how they look, how they carry themselves as professionals, you're lumped up with them. Mm-hmm. So like you can't just hit somebody up like I got beef with that guy. I don't like that dude because he trashed the locker room, made out with my girlfriend, did all this crazy shit. Like I can't book that guy and I can't book you because you his homie. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, that's the thing. It's one of those things like there definitely, when it comes to wrestling, there's a difference between like friendships and then the business side of things. I mean, even look at the whole the clique and stuff in WWE. It got to a point when Hall and Waltman and those guys got themselves so out of, that Triple H and those guys cut them off. Like they're like, you're not coming back and working here because on my name anymore. Like even in TNA when Hogan went over there and stuff, and they were trying, some of those guys, like, you guys are screwing up too much. You're not. I'm not putting my name on you anymore. I don't care if you guys are my boys. Like we'll always be boys, but I'm not dropping my name on you for business because you're gonna torch my name and you're gonna ruin my reputation, and we're not gonna do that. Yeah. So there's definitely a difference. There's a professionalism versus a friendship sometimes too that you have to kind of distinguish.
And sometimes in the world of wrestling, we are judged by the company we keep. Mm-hmm. God honest truth. And there's guys that are ultra talented, have more talent in their pinky finger than most entire locker rooms have in their entire body. But yet, because of the shitty attitudes or the people they have around them that are notorious, no one doesn't want to book them. No one doesn't want to deal with it. I mean, honestly, it's sad. But sometimes the actions and consequences of others does kind of come back on the people that, hangs out with those people, prime example, I actually had this happen to me today, that a very good friend of mine actually got bitched out by one of his guys in his stable, that he wanted to know why he wasn't booked working for me. And he, instead of actually just messaging me and talking to me about it, he messaged his friend and cussed his friend to hell and back. Just called him no good motherfucker, just went off on him, just burnt that bridge with a gas can and then dumped it with a ginormous gas truck on fire, coming down, just bursting it. And all his friend can say is, hey man, I vouched for you once to the promoter. The promoter knows that you've had a history of doing bad things. And he doesn't want to deal with you. And you know me, both of you guys know me very well. I don't deal with locker room cancers. I don't deal with drama. I don't deal with shady people. I don't want none of that in my locker room. I try to keep Chicagoland as the cleanest, most down-to-earth locker room anyone could go into. We all have a good time. It's a brotherhood. You go in there, we have fun. You know, we do TV studio wrestling, but we have a good time. And the person that wanted to come work is notorious for having a history of big leaguing guys, bullying young talent, just was not a good person at all. And so, yeah, sometimes it's just your reputation carries, you know, and his reputation carried really well for me because I know people that dealt with him in the past, and he owes people money. And people are really straight up like, no, I can't stand working with him. Yeah, we have to be at shows with him, but I don't want him around me. And if I have the power to stop that from happening in my own locker room, I'm going to do it. And that makes me a bad guy for wanting to keep cancer out of my locker room, keep people like that not being on our show and causing trauma, troubles, or trying to bully a rookie. Yeah, I'm sorry, get the fuck out. I'll need you. And I'll personally throw you out myself. You know, I'm a big guy. I'm 6'3", 260 pounds. I lift heavy fucking weight. I'll pick you up and throw you out. You know, I used to bounce at fucking casinos. I ain't afraid of bouncing some dude's ass, you know?
You probably got like, you got 9 people that see you in a commotion that would just straight up make somebody look like a sack of laundry. That's what
I'm saying. Yeah, I'm gonna say, like, I think if anybody makes a mistake coming into our show, I think half the locker room been like, yo, boss, we got this. And you see that poor dude getting chucked out the door, like, nah, see ya.
And I like weapons. I'm a weapons person. So,
yeah, I carry a straight razor with me.
Yeah, so I don't like slicing people. I like just hitting people with something. Like, you know, say if it's a microphone, a
little nunchucks,
a little American flag or something. You know what I'm saying?
Takes the American flag off the Legion wall and cracks somebody.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I'll replace this, guys. Don't worry. Whack.
Yeah, the little orange that be sitting in the bowl in front of the Legion.
Twisted tea can, whatever you gotta do.
I don't care.
Big shout out to our American Legion that we run our shows at, by the way. Matt, chillest dude, best commander anyone could work with. That guy is awesome. I'm looking forward to having him work with us again on June, man, because he was a blast. You know, that American Legion's a good building, man. I like it. I don't want people to like, oh, it's kind of a medium-sized venue. But I'm like, yeah, but name me one other venue in this area that has a bar that after the show's over with, you can literally just open the door, walk into it. You have a bar to sit down and get something to eat, drink beer. The beer's cheap and affordable, and everyone can have a good time.
Yeah, all my a lot of my beer pong dudes showed up, and they were loving it. They were like, "Ooh, I was just missing a table, a beer pong table."
Yeah. hey, maybe you can piggyback off that and put the beer pong tables inside the Legion. You never know.
The Legion be down for it. Guarantee it. Yeah. Guarantee it, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to add the Legion and tell them John's my homie.
but here's the thing is, man, you're a professional. I'll vouch for you. I'll be like, yeah, EWOKK knows how to make some money. You guys need to make some money off that beer pong? Hit them up.
But yeah, like I don't mean to sound like a dickhead, but it's just like I can't. I just want to keep this professional. Like, if you approach me professional, I'm gonna be professional with you. I won't talk about you on this podcast. But if you just do some despicable, because like I was mad about that for at least until yesterday, and then like me and my boy laughed about that shit in the car. It's like, yo, buddy called you his homie.
I have to ask this, man. Do I know this guy?
Oh, you know this motherfucker, but I'll tell you later. Like I said, this podcast, no names.
Yeah, we're kind of like the mafia. We don't know nothing, we see nothing, don't hear nothing.
Hold on, I'm gonna send you the name.
Okay.
Via Hold up.
But yeah, Michael, we brought you on not just via side piece, but what year did you start with wrestling?
So I started getting involved. What year is it?
2021.
I want to say it was either 16 or 17. I started as a on-screen general manager character. And then, like I said, I did that for a couple of years. Then took over the books for about 2 or 3 years. Then, got to a point where I was, I was kind of done. I had, a lot of stuff was happening, a lot of stuff in my life, and a lot of stuff with the wrestling business that wasn't all that great. A lot of drama stuff I didn't like. So I was just kind of got burnout on it and was about ready to be done, to be honest. Like I kind of stopped really getting involved in it, started kind of taking myself out of it, going back to some, hey, I'm going to go back and do some other stuff. And Rion hit me up. Well, actually, John Rose hit me up, and I worked a Wicked show. When Wicked did their one show, I worked that show.
The one and only.
Yes, and then Rion met me that day, and he said, "Hey, man, like, I know who you are," and we were talking and just having conversation in the back. He said, "Hey, I'm doing something out in Illinois. If you're ever interested." And I said, "Well, hit me up with the details. We'll talk." And then he brought me out there, and he wanted me to do the Mean Gene Okerlund type role, and I ended up being something I really enjoyed. When I got out there and started doing that, and doing some ring announcing and things of that nature, and that drama-free environment, pretty much drama-free environment of IPW, had me kept coming back. Like, it was like, I can do this. This is fun again. There's not a lot of drama. There's not a lot of people stabbing each other in the back, yelling at each other, starting stuff. So it was nice to be able to go do that. And then that's when I met John, because I interviewed John at one of the shows when he was still working. And, just basically the way that I kind of approached him with the interview, he was kind of like, man, I like how you did that. Next thing you know, he called me afterwards and said, hey, I'm looking to start something. You interested? And that's kind of how this relationship came to be. So, but like I said, it's, what I love about CCW is the drama-free work environment. John doesn't put up with that nonsense. He doesn't, he's not going to have a bunch of guys taking each other out in the locker room or, backstabbing each other. It's not going to happen. He's just not going to allow it. And for me, that's something that allows me to still enjoy the business without all the crap, because this business can have a lot of crap, trust me. And you can get a lot of drama, a lot of bullshit.
Every day.
Yeah.
If you're not careful with certain people being in your life, it'll make you hate wrestling within the first 24 hours. Easily. You
have to be able to separate it, and you have to be able to get out of it. And that's the thing is that's one thing I'm enjoying about this, is I can just come in and just have fun and do what I love to do and be involved in the business. And that's why I'm so grateful for being involved in CCW. And I'm grateful for Rion too for bringing me over to IPW so that I could meet John. I mean, there was definitely a lot of love there. I appreciate all that. So,
dude, I will say, I'm gonna say, man, big shout, because, dude, I gotta say this, man. When meeting Rion Skills was a blessing for many reasons, for myself too. Because with me, my good late friend Chris Martinez, the reason why I'm actually in the wrestling business again, because people who know my little backstory, 2014, I left the business. I was done. I was happily retired, gone from it. I had a farewell show in Kentucky, packed house. Jim Cornette was there for us.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, Jim was commentator that night. It was my farewell show. And I left. I left on a high note. I was happy. Did everything I could do in Kentucky. And for a few years, I had a couple of promoters hit me up wanting to give me the book. And I turned it down. I had 4 promoters at that time who hit me up. Would you come in? Would you format our shows? Would you book talent? Would you deal with talent, scout, whatever whatever I was known for doing best? Nope. Didn't want nothing to do with it. And so a good friend of mine, Tony Myers, who's a well-known Memphis wrestling legend. and one of my best friends. Tony told me about Gravestone. Gravestone was Chris Martinez's nickname. And he was like, hey man, you should really hit up this guy in Chicago area. His name, call him Gravestone. His name's Chris Martinez. You and him get along like two pieces of pod, man. He's old school wrestling fan, big Japanese mark, like he's just such a cool dude. And so I hit up Chris, and me and Chris just became like two best friends, man. And Chris was getting a lot of training with Rion, and Rion would like help him with stuff. And one day, Chris kept on talking to me about being a referee. So I'll be on the phone with him. I'll give him referee advice, kind of tell him things to look for, the proper way of dressing as a referee. And next thing I know, he gives me a call and he says, hey man, we have this show for a company called League of Wrestlers, and it's over in Halstead. Would you be interested in being a referee for one night only? And I told Chris straight up, I was like, nah, I'm good, man. I told everybody I was retired, I'm retired. But I don't know what it was, but I kept talking to Chris, and sure enough, he said, Rion, by the way, bought your referee jersey. You don't even have to have a ref jersey. We got you taken care of. All right. Is this a paying gig? Because I don't really work for free. I've spent enough years in the business. I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, we'll make sure you're paid. Cool. All right. I don't care what much. Just make sure it's $20. I don't give a shit. Whatever. So showed up, hanged out with Chris, had a blast. Refereed. I was in the ring refereeing for 2.5 hours. You got to remember, I haven't been in a ring for nearly four years. So I was like, holy shit. I felt great until the day after. My body was shocked. So Rion kept telling me, he's like, he's like, well, I've been kind of toying with this idea about being a promoter, running shows. And I was like, okay. I said, I'll tell you what, Rion. And I knew when I showed up to that building, I was going to get the itch. I just knew it, because wrestling's the greatest drug. You even have a taste of it. You kind of want that taste again and again. And so I enjoyed it, man, because Rion had me at League of Wrestlers. He had me agent some guys' matches and make sure the matches look good. And so I decided, I told my wife, I was like, in 2011, I stepped away as a wrestler, became a promoter, and that pretty much became my life after that back injury. So like, I lost weight, was getting myself back in really good shape. I was like, maybe I could at least have one or two good matches left in me just to see it. Got to give Rion credit. Rion gave me the ring to go work out and do it in. And it's the greatest thing in the world, man. And he was like, all right, well, you want to work with me at IPW? I was like, sure. Because of that blessing, man, I met you, Mike. I met EWOKK. I met, Uncle Red, as I call him, C Red, Miles Mercer. Some of the guys are kind of became corner pieces of what we do at Chicagoland, like real building block people, man. Like, I consider you guys foundation members. It's not, oh yeah, I hired you off the bat. It's like, no, you guys are part of the foundation of what we're doing. Why this is becoming successful. Why this promotion is getting attention, because people like EWOKK would cut these fucking movie quality videos, and other guys are putting in the work. Mike, hey, dude, you deserve so much credit for what you do with us, because you're more than just an interview guy. Me and you will sit there for, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 hours a night and format the shows.
Mm-hmm.
So the shows are smooth as it can be, with interviews and how we do segments and how the matches go and the match times, and we make sure every match has a good finish.
Mm-hmm.
Like me and you both put in the work. This is both our project. This is our company. And knowing how you was treated by the other promotions that you worked for in the past, that they never saw that value and what you put in and the value that you brought to the table. It always bothered me, because I've always truly believed in the worst thing we can see in this world is wasted potential. Someone who has all the talent in the world or is never given that chance to showcase their talent. That's the greatest waste. And knowing what your background was, that day we had dinner, he was telling me like, oh, well, I did booking and this, and that. And I was like, why isn't anybody using this? Why is nobody not working with this guy on this? It's like, okay, come work for me, man. We'll put this together. We'll make this happen, you know? And so far, the rave reviews from that first show, man, people love how the show was formatted. They love that we would actually do a promo or a vignette video hyping the guy before their match, so people get actually familiar with who they're actually watching. When they would actually watch, go, man, that makes sense. Like you said, you had a friend who's always like, that's weird. Why would people do a vignette before the match? And then they're like, yeah, actually, it kind of makes sense now because you're actually introducing this character.
Yep. A friend of mine told me that. He actually told me, he goes, I was expecting to turn it on and watch it. Because, I told him, my guy I known for probably 10 years, I know he's a wrestling fan. I told him, I said, hey, check it out. It's on Prime. You can watch it for free, And he even told me, he goes, I literally expected to turn it on, watch about 15 minutes and, just kind of segment it until I finished it. He goes, I sat down and watched the whole show. And he said, because he said, you guys are building, which is I think was our goal the whole time, larger than life characters that people can invest in. So basically, introducing the character before the match. It's huge because these people don't necessarily always know who these characters are. And the more you invest in the character, the more you introduce the character, when people watch, they're bought in. They're bought into that character. They're bought into what's going on. And that's what it's all about. Like if you don't care about the character, then why do you care about what happens? Like, so it's like one of those things where, if you don't understand, like you go to a match, you don't know who's face, who's heel, you don't know any of what you're supposed to be looking for in a match. Like it's hard to really invest in it. And I think that's what we do, is that we make sure that stuff's, that stuff's put together. We make sure that the show runs smoothly with, basically top to bottom, laying everything out, seeing, making sure we have everything put together smoothly and everything's included and we know where we're going with it. And I mean, that's the key, I think, to our success so far, is just making sure that it's, like I said, it's all, we take the time, put it together. We take the time to introduce the characters, take the time on the details that maybe other people don't. I think that's what's going to make us stand out in the long run.
In your opinion, because you've been a booker, you've been before this, you've done this type of work for one or two companies that didn't, in my opinion, didn't appreciate what you did. In your opinion, with the wrestling scene in the Midwest that you've been around, what are most companies actually missing out on? What are companies actually failing to do? Like, there's some companies that they have a great fan base, they're doing a good job at what they're doing, but you see some of these other upstart companies that are failing, or they're struggling to get 20 people. Like, in your opinion, what is it that you're seeing that they're messing up on? What are they doing not grabbing the attention of other people around them and bringing them in?
I think first and foremost, they're not promoting. They're not promoting as much as they should. They're just sharing a flyer here and there on Facebook and then leaving it at that. They're not truly promoting and truly getting all the workers to, cut promos and do the things that are required to get people invested. And I think that they're not, a lot of false starts on stories where they start a story and people start getting invested, and all of a sudden, like, one of the wrestlers doesn't come back for 2 or 3 months, or scheduling something happens, they can't get the guy to come back. Next thing you know, the story kind of dies before it starts. So then you got a lot of one-off ad hoc type matches that are never built. So, like, say at the day of the show, they end up having to change, 3 or 4 matches because somebody doesn't show up, or, they book guys who necessarily aren't, they don't take it as seriously. Obviously, cancel bookings all the time. Then, rating is, as a booker, as I had that happen to me a ton of times, is guys canceled on me the day of, and then you end up trying to throw together just to make sure that you had enough for the show. You're trying to throw together a match that nobody's invested in, and it's tough. It's really tough, and it's not, like I said, it's not always the booker's fault, because the booker might have had the whole entire show booked, and then you end up with a couple of guys who don't show up the day of, or don't call you the night before, and then you're literally spending the entire day of the show trying to book somebody just to get a match to make up for the hole you now have in your card, or the couple of holes you now have in your card, which it takes away from it because you don't have time to hype those matches. So then you gotta be creative, and you gotta try to find a way, like, how can I spin a story in the show to make this match make sense? And then it ends up being a lot more work than you really, really had to be. You can't always control that. That's going to happen. Like we had it happen at our show. I mean, we had it happen with, a couple of towns. So I think we ended up 3 guys that weren't able to make it the day, day of or day before we found out. So
Yeah, it was the Gotch brothers, and
Chris.
the other one was Chris Jones, Sugar in the Tank.
Mhm.
But I mean, it was just one of those unfortunate situations. Shit happens.
Mm-hmm.
But as a booker, I could say this: sometimes in life, you will get the best matches out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes it's meant to happen. It was meant to be. I'll give you an example of this. When I ran Pro Wrestling Freedom in Kentucky, Jared Sloan was supposed to be in a tag team match with Shane Mercer, which now everybody knows who Shane Mercer is. But it was supposed to be him, Shane Mercer versus Cole Leighton King and Jason the Gift Kincaid. And Jared couldn't make it. Well, King always works as a manager sometimes. He could wrestle too. I looked at King. I was like, "Hey, do you mind being a manager tonight?" "Oh yeah, absolutely, brother. Let me go put on a cowboy hat, suit and tie, whatever. We'll look good." Dude, Shane Mercer that night wrestled Jason Kincaid and became a superstar because at the end of the night, he got a standing ovation from that entire crowd. And I when he came back, I looked at him. I was like, "Dude, you don't need to be in a tag team. Like you're meant to be a single star." You know. And after that, we knew that we had a star in the making with him. I felt like with that show, when Gunnar Brace stepped up,
Mm-hmm.
dude, Gunnar. Sometimes I love Gunnar to death. I know he's going to listen to this. He's like a little brother to me, and there's times that he's going to give me a heart attack, and I think he does it on purpose. I love him to death, but I worry about his health. But I will say this: when I knew Chris going to make the show, I looked over at him and I was like, "You want to step up?" And dude, he didn't have to say ifs, buts, and what's about it. He had that gear on, and he was sitting in that ring, and he was ready to have a good match here against Johnny. And I mean, dude, guys like that, they earn their spots because they are willing to be there. They're willing to make a drive to be there just to have an opportunity. Chip Walker showed up, did all the grunt work, did all the shit that no one else didn't want to do, but he did it. Got himself a job. I guarantee he'll still do the grunt work even when he's in the company just because he's that type of guy.
Well, you ever hear the story of Kevin Owens when he was in NXT, still taking the ring down?
Still taking the ring down, yeah.
Same with Gallows. Gallows was doing that at trying to think where he was. They said he was working indie shows and he would take the ring down at indie shows. He worked because you're never too good. You should never feel that you're too good to help you should never look at people like, well, that's the ring crew. I'm not going to help those guys. Like, if you have an opportunity to help. Like, we're all in this together. Like, that kind of stuff bothered me.
The interview with me and EWOKK did with Ice Pick Vic Capri.
Yes, sir.
Vic straight up would tell people right then and there, he's like, I still take the ring down if I have to. If I know a promoter is down a couple of guys, I'll still do it. So I'll show up and do it. Been doing this for over 20 years. I'll still do it. He was talking about, he told me in EWOKK when he was in Japan. Gaijin and Japanese workers together, all put up the ring, all take down the ring, all do all the grunt work because a small company gives you the opportunity to come and work on their island. You do what you can to pay back that company for that opportunity. Kills me, man. The guys don't want to do that type of work. Me fuck. I have no I'll show up to C3 for Chris Classic when I can, and I show up early to help set up that ring and help take it down. And I'll see some of these younger guys will stand around and not do nothing. And I'm like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm considered one of the biggest promoters now in the United States. And I'm like, if one of the biggest promoters in the United States is helping another promoter set up his ring, what's your fucking excuse? Show up and put in that labor.
My cat has a date with a dog, or my fish.
No shit.
My fish got the COVID or something like that. Like you always help. Like I tell the kids at work, just like pick up a chair and put it up or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you don't want to help a ring, like get a mop or something. And
No, no,
like
no, no. You know what the worst excuse was at the C3 show?
what?
Oh man, I would, but I have to be at work in about an hour or two. And I looked at them. This is what I said. I was like, so you had no problem getting in the ring, running around, getting covered in sweat, bumping, doing all that. That's no problem. But you taking down a ring post. Oh boy. Can't do that. Really?
Yeah, come on. Like if you're gonna make up a story, at least make up a believable good story. Don't tell somebody something like that. Well, yeah, you literally just had a match and bumped and everything else, and now you're gonna tell me you can't carry a board because you're gonna hurt your arm and you can't go to work.
If I ever had an excuse, I was like, yo, I'm still selling my spine. I can't I can't lift that post, bro. I'm very serious about my selling. I can't lift that post.
2010, worked for UWF in Georgetown. Dislocated my shoulder in the match. Shoulder was still hanging down. You know, I didn't pop it back in place. It was dangling. And I legit was like, oh shit. Like I should be going to the hospital for this. But they're like, hey, we still need the ring taken down. And I'll tell this to anybody. A guy by the name of the Zodiac, who is a good friend of mine, he was there, and he was like, "Well, you should be going to the hospital," but I was like, "Hey, man, I'll still take down the ring." I said, "I only got one good arm though," so I was like, "I don't know how much help I'll be, but I'll do what I can." Me and Mike was taking down boards off that ring. I was using one hand to lift. My arm was dangling off like fucking Quasimodo, Hunchback of Notre Dame, running around. But we were still taking down that ring, and I'm thinking to myself, like, man, if I have a dislocated shoulder and I'm still doing this grunt work, there is no excuse for anybody else not to do this. We used to have a girl that used to go to the wrestling class there. Anytime the ring needed to be taken down, oh no, I hurt my ankle. Oh, and she was like faking injury. And I'm like, you kidding me? Like, I'm already a couple of years in. I'm like, I already have a kind of little bit of a veteran status over you, girl. And I'm taking this ring down. Okay, your ankle's hurt, but your back ain't. Your shoulder's not. And your arms are working pretty good. You can wobble on one leg and get this down. Come on now. You got this. Yeah, man.
People are something.
But you're right though, that I feel like a lot of promoters don't promote their shows. They don't. And this is the thing too. I want to give a shout out to Daniel Strandring, Standering. I hope I pronounced his name right. He's our graphic designer for Chicagoland. That dude does amazing flyers. The cards he's making for everybody looks killer. But me and Daniel will talk about how he will reach out to other promoters about their flyers. And he even told one promoter, he's like, look, let me do one for free for you.
Your shit trash.
to make your event look like $1 million. I'll do one for free. Just one. If you like what I do, I'll give you a decent price and you'll keep me on board. No, I'm sorry. I got no money to pay a graphic designer. And I look at this when I hear this now. Yeah. I can show you the emails. No offense to Dan. I mean, but me and Dan has talked about this. And it's like, hold on. You don't have, 20, 40, 50, 60 bucks, whatever it is you want to pay your graphic designer. How much are you paying your wrestlers? If you got no money to pay a graphic designer, you shouldn't be running a show.
Like,
that's why I look at it.
Like a graphic, like I have my own, like my boy, he does all my logos, right? $75 for a decent logo that you could put on anything and everything. $75 ain't like it. That's your shit.
That should be a no-brainer, especially if it's a quality logo you can use on anything. You own it.
And I've been using them. I use those logos for everything. Like they're my gear. They're on my gear. They're on merch. They're like I use them for my videos. Like you gotta, like, people gotta start investing in themselves. Like $75. I know people got kids and whatever, but like you're still in the wrestling business. You still gotta promote yourself. You still gotta, you could make money in wrestling. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you just gotta get the stuff made. You just can't be a cheap ass and buying everything on Amazon. You know what I mean?
And I'll say this to every promoter out there. If there's some advice I give to all you young promoters out there, if you're going the route of being cheap and you look like $5 wrestling and you're using free wrestlers that can't work or they wear Walmart gear, please don't run a show. Because all it takes is one family to see a bad wrestling show and it ruins the experience of whoever goes there. And they never want to support independent wrestling again because of a shit-tastic show.
Mhm.
You know, to me, if you're going to run a show, why not invest in yourself, invest in the company you're running, and have the best quality stuff that you can possible? Not saying, you have to be WWE because nobody's going to have that type of budget, but have a show that guys at least look like wrestlers, at least have a roster that has actually been properly trained. Have a show that looks like people are going to enjoy themselves. And it's really funny. Like, I remember the first time I actually got a chance to work for a very posh wrestling company. It was a company called New Ohio Championship Wrestling, New OCW, and it was ran by a guy by the name of Kerry Campbell. Kerry was a huge influence on me as a promoter. And when I went to go work for Kerry, his ring looked like $1,000,000. He had a ramp, he had an entryway, he had smokes, the lights, the whole 9 yards, and he had talent that looked like real wrestling talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I was mind blown by this because when I first moved into the Kentucky scene, there were some parts of Kentucky that wasn't really all that professional. There were some guys that looked like they never got off a couch. But Kerry's company was like top of the line, And I just remember sitting back and I'm like, wow, this is kind of reminds me of Florida, like this looks like a real good wrestling show. And it was. And I was lucky that Kerry, our friendship developed from there. I was his ring announcer that night. But he always took good care of me, always paid me, always took good care of his talent. The talent was loyal to him because I knew that they were going to be treated, properly. But Kerry always told me, he says, he was like, John, my boy, if you run a professional wrestling show, remember that word you just said right there. The word is professional.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure what you do is professional. Make sure the people you have are professional. And most importantly, when the fans see that show, they are going to say, that's professional. And because they will keep coming back for it. He ran almost every Thursday and Saturdays up in Ashland and Olive Kentucky for years and always had the best. To me, it's funny, even when you look at a wrestling show and you see guardrails, how many of you guys, when you see guardrails at a wrestling show, you kind of mark out for it? You're like, this is professional. They got guardrails. Like, you can't help when you see like little things at a show. You go, oh yeah, that's dope, man. That's professional as shit, And fans will feel that way too. If a worker feels that way, I know a fan definitely has to feel that way when I see shows like that.
Yeah, because I feel like something set the vibe for those people to act that crazy at our show. I think it was the guardrails. I think it was just that time. Like, it was a bunch of factors in that. You know what I mean? Like, because like you walk into that room. Even when I walked in the room as a wrestler, I was like, damn, this is a nice ass setup. I was like, man, who wrestling tonight? I know it ain't me. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of set the ambiance, and like, you kind of got chills when you walked in that room. Like you knew some magic was about to happen. So like that whole setup, and it was very simple. It was a very simple setup.
Yeah,
very simple.
Yeah, we had pretty much like the most basic setup of a wrestling company. We had our entranceway curtains. We had a backdrop. Big shout out to Surf, the guy who actually painted that backdrop that looks like $1,000,000. Big shout out to Greg Hansen, our ring announcer, who actually built that backdrop. And
it's a freaking
man. No, when it sets the tone when you do your interviews, it looks great on camera,
Right behind me is like the entire Chicago skyline. I mean, it's with the logo.
Yeah.
And
I mean, right here behind me, right here,
yep.
this right here is what people see, but it's done in a spray paint mural like you see on a subway train. And this looks really killer. I remember me and Tom Heisman of Youth Gone Wild talked about this, and Tom was like, well, you ever think about doing like laser lights or smoke machines or anything like that? because Tom's a real high tech guy on that stuff. And I told Tom, I said, no. I said, here's my reason why. I think what sets us apart as a company is that we have a grittiness to us. It's the big spotlight over the ring. The rest of the building is a little dark. It kind of has, people are drinking, people are having a good time. It's almost like a Def Jam vendetta fight type feel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I remember
that underground vibe with the, like I said, slightly dark to the room. Like, when you walk the way the camera looks on camera, it's like an underground fight club meets professional wrestling. Like the whole vibe of it is so different and so cool.
It's one of the things I sent the video to Mojo McQueen, who I have a tremendous amount of respect for. I said, let me know what you think. And that's the first, and that's the first thing Mojo said to me. He was like, dude, this is Def Jam. You turned Def Jam into a pro wrestling thing. This is really cool. I want to be part of this. Like he really liked what he saw. And that's why I was trying to tell everybody else. We're like, oh yeah, but you should be like, Attitude Era. And I'm like, no, that's what they'll ruin what we're doing, because if I put in lights right now, what's going to separate us from being like AEW? What's going to separate us from being like WWE? They have all the lights, they have all the smoke, they have all the fancy machines. We don't. But what we do have is wrestling with a great story to it, and our hard-hitting, gritty edge to what we do as a company. It's actually what separates us from NWA. And I have nothing but love and respect for the National Wrestling Alliance. Grew up in the South, but I didn't want to be retro 1980s. And NWA Power gives you that whole, you're watching WTBS back in the 1980s, 1990s type vibe, and it's great. It works for them because that's their product, that's their nostalgia. But for our nostalgia, we're in the Chicagoland area, and Chicago has a history of being gritty. There's a history of a city that, organized crime and toughness, and Chicago folks are legit tough people. They'll legit will fight you if they're pushed. That's why people don't go into Chicago and fuck with Chicagoans. This is how it is. And I felt like, well, that's how our wrestling should be. Our wrestling should let people know, if you deal with the folks from the Midwest, you're in for a fight. We wrestle snug. We're not going to pussyfoot around stuff. You wrestle us, you're going to get punched in the face. And people like that, man. They like that. I think the fans picked up on it real quick. That's what we were about, and I think that's why that crowd was so rowdy. I mean, anybody who's watching this who's never seen our show, hasn't been there. Mike was there, EWOKK was there, of course I was there because I'm the promoter. But guys, I have never worked in front of a crowd that fucking loud and that rowdy from the beginning of a show to the end of the show. They were not quiet at all. Like at all. If they were quiet, they were waiting for something to happen for them to get all crazy again.
It was one of those things where there wasn't many dead moments of the crowd. There's a lot of shows you go to, you'll see like there'll be a match or two that'll kind of bring the show down a little bit. Somebody, something that somebody's not invested in, they go out there, they're like, who are these guys? And the next thing you know, the show comes down. It takes a little bit more to build it back up. But I think the entire night, every match, the crowd was popping. It was hot. I think it was a combination of something new, something different. Like we said, we hyped the characters so much that people were literally cheering for No Coast because of their promos. Like guys, literally like all the stuff online that we did, all the hard work. It was definitely paid off when it came time for the show to start. And also, a lot of hungry fans who wanted wrestling, and we ran at a time when nobody else was running. We took the chance. We did our safety precautions. We did it right, and we pulled it off. And I mean, you can't. It was just like you said. And watching our show, nobody did anything crazy. Not one of the wrestlers in that entire night did anything that was completely crazy. Like nobody did a 450 splash to the outside and landed on a table. Nobody did anything like that. It was everybody had a good character, a good story, and everybody went out there and just, like you said, wrestled snug, went out there and made it look the best they could make it look. And that was the difference.
I think what we gave to the fans is a good, hard-hitting Midwest style wrestling. Mm-hmm. And fans like that. You watch AWA, you didn't see no flips. it was a fight, you know. And I think for a lot of older wrestling fans who were at the show, they got that Bruiser, the Crusher, the Road Warrior, you know, type vibe off that, you know. I'll definitely say this show coming up in June, like holy shit, man, they got some matches. Me and you put some matches together that are like it's gonna be a night of fights. Like people are legit. It's going to feel like every match is going to feel like a prize fight coming in because
and people are excited about it.
EWOKK's got Jay Cross. EWOKK's got Jay Cross. I'm just hoping that afterwards that he can eat. Like he didn't get his job dislocated. I'm hoping he can still eat a little bit because I'm gonna need to get a good meal with EWOKK after the show.
No, we gonna be good. Like I'm gonna try to get out with you.
That match alone's gonna be a bar brawl, man. That's what I told people when they talk to me on every one of these podcasts. I mention that match. I'm like bar brawl. I was like, they're probably going to fight all over the building. They're probably going to fight all over the ringside. They're probably going to hit each other with trash cans and chairs. You know, just it's going to turn from a wrestling match into a fisticuffs into like a damn street fight. You know, and that's how EWOKK and how Jay Cross fights. That's just how it is. When I saw that match, I was like, who can I put in a ring with Dez that would be like mirror image of him? And Jay Cross like came to mind. I'm like, dude, Jay Cross is white boy version of EWOKK. That's how he is.
Man.
You know?
They're gonna slug him out.
But he don't like Star Wars though.
Yeah, I know. He's like redneck version of EWOKK. That's the best way I can say it. You know, he's redneck version of EWOKK. You know, he's but you got that. You got the opening card match. You got Garrison Creed versus Zeke Gickham. I mean, that alone, that's gonna be a fight.
Think about the way both those guys work. I mean, those guys are going to start off the show with a bang, slugfest. These guys are going to be. I mean, look at EWOKK and Zeke. I mean, everybody was going nuts. It was right before intermission. Those guys are just beating the shit out of each other out there. I was sitting. I'm sitting over on the sideline going, "Oh my god, these guys are just ripping into each other, man." It was awesome. Like, and that people were popping. People were loving it. I mean, look. I mean, even after the match, Zeke was like, "Man, I was never so happy to take a chop after I got hit I got slapped in the stomach so many times. I was never so happy to take a chest chop."
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Then you got like Chris Moore and Marche Rocket Man.
Oh yeah, you got a big athletic monster in Chris Moore, and then I mean, Mr. M80. I mean, the man was just on NWA. I mean, Marche Rocket. I mean, you don't have to say twice about that guy. And then you put him with a physical specimen like Chris Moore, who, like I said, the guy can do suicide dives and all this stuff at his size, and the guy catches guys out of the air and does. I mean, it's unbelievable, the athleticism and strength that guy has. So it's gonna be a killer match. People are gonna be like, holy crap, because we didn't have Chris Moore on the first show. Now they're gonna get to see.
Now they get to see the real deal. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think No Coast and Paragon and Jace is going to kill it straight up. You know. I mean, there's not a bad match on that card. I mean, you've looked over those matches, and with like one or two of the guys that we had to replace, you know, like people listen to this podcast, I'll shoot straight on this because I don't feel like I should ever have to bullshit a fan because I don't believe in doing it. The Gotch brothers had to cancel, you know, and I'll address this at the show as well, live on TV. Don't care. I'll do the Paul Heyman style. I'll talk to the fans because the fans deserve it. The fans deserve to know, okay, this is what happened, you know. But the Youth Gone Wild match, man, you know, everybody's looking for that. Everyone's looking up for that match. Unfortunately, that match can't happen on June. Might have it down the road though, so I'm not canceling that match out. But we have the Outrunners coming in. Shiloh Jones, who's known as Truth Magnum. You have Turbo, his other tag team partner. Both guys worked television for years, trained by Rip Rogers, trained by Al Snow, was trained by Nick Dinsmore. Like they were trained by the best of the best pedigree of wrestlers, you know, and they can work any style, and they're really good. I think they're going to kill it with You've Gone Wild. I feel like Matt and Tom for years have been kind of overshadowed by a lot of people. And I think 2021's year that You've Gone Wild kind of breaks out of that mold for tag team wrestling. I think they will show a lot of people like, you guys slept on us for so many years. You know, we should have been that tag team. You know,
how talented those guys are as singles, and then you put them together. I mean, and the way that they work, you can see the chemistry with those two. which sometimes you don't always see with, guys that are put together that way. And I know they worked in the past together, but you'd always, when you have guys who are really good singles workers, they don't always mesh. You throw them together in a tag team, they don't always mesh. But those guys, like, you can see it. You can see the chemistry.
Oh, you can tell they're best friends.
Yeah.
They know each other.
Mm-hmm.
Another cancellation was Big Brother from Gunner Braves group. He took another booking. And it happens in the business. And I wish him the best of luck.
Mm-hmm.
But Air Country stepped up. They're trained by Frankie DeFalco, and that's another legit good tag team that wrestles like a tag team. They have matching gear. They do great tag team combinations. They got good ring psychology. And then you give them Jared Kripke, who another young guy that I felt like if he just wrestled the right people and got in the right company, the right crowd, kid's a bona fide star, man. He's a babyface, Indiana boy next door.
First singles title he ever had, I gave it to him. I saw potential in that kid years ago. And like I said, the way that he got a crowd to pop, and the way he's a natural face. He's a natural, people love him. He's the guy next door. You're absolutely right. Just, you look at this guy and you're like, man, $1 million smile. You just want to love the kid. And he goes out there and he puts his body on the line every night. And sometimes a little bit too much when he'll do something crazy and, hurt himself. But the kid is talented, and the kid he knows how to get over. And the kid is, he sells merch, he promos, he does all of the stuff that you're supposed to do, and he wants it. And he's wrestled some TNA guys. He's wrestled Madman Fulton. He's wrestled Ace Austin. I mean, he's been in the ring and he's gotten advice from guys who are on TV. So I mean, got to give him the credit. I mean, he wants this. He wants to do this, and more power to him. So.
What I like about Jared is Jared's part of what a little group of guys, and EWOKK's part of this. I consider myself, one of the guys part of it. Is that grinder crew? Mm-hmm. Is the guys that constantly hustle. They constantly put themselves out to the world. They have no fear of hearing the word no, because they know that 5 other people will say yes. Always looking to innovate themselves, to recreate, to make stuff happen. I mean, for the love of God, man, Jared has sponsors.
I know he does.
He has sponsors that sponsors him to go to wrestling shows.
John, I watched him sell a $40 action figure at one of our shows.
Yeah, smart.
That's how over he was. A kid bought a $40 action figure of his, homemade. He had a homemade action figure, man. He sold it for $40 at one of our shows.
Yeah.
He never cared. He didn't care. Like, we obviously paid him a fair wage, but he didn't care because he knew he was going to sell all his merch.
He's one of those kids that he could take a $20 payday.
Yep.
They come out with $200, $300 off of a 20 easily, just because he knows an opportunity, and he has merchandise and he knows how to sell himself.
Mm-hmm.
Smart, man.
And
there's more guys in the business that needs to learn how to do that.
And then,
oh no, well, my pay is really low. Yeah, merch. Well, yeah.
And like fools are afraid to be like, oh, you the guy that you refer me to, it's too expensive. Yeah. You're gonna pay $250 for a whole box of shirts, but you're gonna make that money back and then some times 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like people don't understand that investment is like, all right, cool. I'm gonna buy a bunch of hats for $100, $10 a hat, maybe $20 a hat. You just made that money back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you guys gotta think.
I mean, if you get like a good t-shirt guy, let's say your t-shirts are like $5-6 a shirt, right? You sell it for $20. That's easily a $13-14 markup you just made.
Mm-hmm.
You can make profit by buying in bulk. You can make profit going on eBay and buying old action figures and toys and reselling them. There's ways you could do that. To me, like, all right, so let's say you have a t-shirt 8x10 and a few other like little plushy figures or something, right? Let's say that, for example. You turn around and you make a package deal. You buy a t-shirt, this and this, I'll shave off $5.
Mm-hmm.
Thing is, if you know how much profit you actually made off that stuff, you're actually still making profit big time. And people feel like, hey, it's a deal. everyone likes the feeling that they have a deal, a good deal. And the thing is, I'm not saying you're not screwing the people over. You're still giving them a good deal, but you're also making profit while giving them a good deal. And people will like that because they feel like you did something nice for them, which you are. And that's the thing I think a lot of guys don't think about. It's like there's ways to make money. Like to me, if I was wrestling right now and someone said, "Hey, I'm giving you $20." Okay. Can I sell my merchandise? Yeah. That's all I need to know. And I'll go out there and my wife, friend, family, whatever. Like when I was single, I used to have this girl who used to work with me at my old job, real buxom, good looking blonde girl, man. I would bring her to shows with me and she would wear like really nice outfits and stuff and work my merch table. I give her $100 every night she'd work the merch table with me because I make $300-400 off the merch because guys wanted to talk to her, and she was selling the Johnny Rock shirts and all that other stuff. Made fucking bank, man. It's just smart.
And it's like formatting your merch table too. It's like, all right, cool. Like not everybody. So there be some people that wants to buy everything from each person. Is like sometimes you have to have your $10 shirt. Sometimes you have to have a little $5 or $2 pin or something like that. Is like me, like always like up my merch every show, So it's just like the merch that might have been $20 last show is now $10 this show. And you wanted that shirt to begin with. Now you're here, you might walk away with all my shirts now because it's like, all right, cool. I got the shirt that I wanted for $10, but I like this shirt too. And it is like you got to cheap it up for somebody too, because if like say if Marche come out with a dope shirt that he's been promoting this whole time, and he's selling it for he's selling it for 10. I'm gonna lower my price a little bit because like I want my dude to sell his merch that he's been pumping out. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta switch the prices up a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like you said, make those deal packages smart. I could say, hey, you know what? I've got a bunch of this stuff that hasn't been moving as much as my other merch. I'm gonna package it in. Like you said, give people a deal, knock some money off of it, so you still make profit, and you're moving merch. And then they feel like they got a good deal.
It's like me. It's more of a walking billboard approach too. Like I'll throw somebody a shirt for free because their kid wanted it, but they couldn't afford it. You know what I mean? It's like I only got. Thank you, nice shirt. That's a real nice shirt, my guy.
but Bean, you made that deal. I threw you a Chicagoland shirt. You threw me an EWOKK shirt, dude. You'd be surprised how many times I actually wore the EWOKK shirt at a restaurant or at a gym. And have people stop me and go, dude, is that a real restaurant? I'm like, no, that's a wrestler who works for me. Dude, I want that shirt. Cool. June 12th, show up to my show. He'll be there. Go hit him up on his merch. And by the way, here's a ticket. Bam.
Yeah. And people fail to realize that like sometimes giving away that free shirt or sometimes making that shirt $5, like that kid that I know there's a group of kids that they always used to buy my shirts at RPW show. Each new shirt, they always would buy something. Till this day, that dad and uncle hits me up. He was like, that kid's still wearing that damn shirt. So it's just like,
and you made it feel good too. Like, yeah, I mean, like sometimes you said it's a walking billboard. It's they're promoting you every time they wear it. So if you can get a kid, you can help a kid out and get him to wear your shirt every time he goes to a wrestling show. People ask questions, like you're being advertised every time he puts it on. So that might be worth you cutting half price off that shirt because you're gonna get kids wearing it everywhere.
My goal for the June show, I want to have our Chicagoland blue shirts, and I'm going to have those classic Chicago shirts that Daniel made for us. And I'm going to do a buy 2 shirts. You get like both of them for $30 total. One's $20 shirt, the other one's going to be $10. And for $40, I'll throw in the ticket for the August 21st show.
Okay.
So you get 2 shirts and a ticket to the upcoming show, one big package deal. Boom, in advance.
Hey, what if you get Benny the Bull to take the t-shirt gun and just start like blasting the crowd with t-shirts?
Dude, the t-shirt gun is awesome.
Like I'm pretty sure we could get Benny the Bull or the dude that plays Benny the Bull, or go on Amazon and get the Benny the Bull mascot thing, and I could just wear that shit though.
That'd be hilarious.
It would be awesome. It would be awesome.
Just come out wearing an EWOKK costume, dude. Just come out wearing an EWOKK costume with a shirt launcher.
Oh,
No.
you already, I don't got the shirt launcher, but I damn sure got the EWOKK costume.
Man, you got to need a shirt launcher. The building ain't big enough. You're gonna kill somebody. You shirt launcher here.
End up hitting some poor grandma across the head. Beer fly everywhere. Oh, dude, I'll hear it now. Like
into the bar, it goes into the bar, knocks a beer glass off the bar. I mean, oh yeah, like
I can see it now. You were like, you got that insurance policy? Yeah. Oh, we'll need that insurance number. Oh shit.
But John, that's something I never thought about. That's a good point. We could do. I wonder if we could do like maybe just like take 2 or 3 shirts at intermission and be like the loudest people get we'll throw them a shirt type thing, and we'll stand in the ring, and like you said, have someone either dress up or even you do it, and just get everybody going, like whoever section cheers the loudest to get a shirt, and then throw it out there, and that could be.
Believe it or not, when I used to go to the original ECW shows, and when I used to do the TNA house shows in Kentucky, when I used to help them promote that, Don West would come out, to do what that dude could write a class about being a salesman. Mm-hmm. And Don was like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, he's like Billy Mays on meth. He was like high as shit. I don't know how many Red Bulls that motherfucker drank. He was just always too hyped, too happy about everything he's doing. Like, oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, and now we're gonna get a t-shirt and watch this. And you're just like, calm down, there's a t-shirt. And you're like, all right, whoever's the loudest person in this building will get a shirt for free. Yay! Mm-hmm. Everybody's going crazy. And you really kind of think about it, Don West is still the loudest person in the building. So I'm like, you kind of give it to yourself, Don, But I mean, dude, he would get the crowd hyped up. Someone in the crowd would be really like, yeah, but usually it's a kid, toss him a shirt. The kid will be forever a TNA fan because, oh my God, I got a free shirt for being loud. Yeah. But on camera, everyone's being loud. So it makes it like the greatest party in the world. It's a promotional trick, but it's a smart one because on camera, that fans going crazy makes your product look like $1 million. And the only thing it costs is probably like $5-6 a shirt. Like you kind of think about that, like that's smart. It really is. Yeah, is this the little things, man? Just the little things in promoting and promoting yourself as a talent, not just as a wrestling promoter, just a talent, just like little shit that can grab someone's attention and go, man, I really like that. It's like wrestlers always talking about these products that they like. Oh man, I love drinking, Bang Energy. Like, okay, if you really like drinking Bang Energy, you're always taking pictures with them and stuff. Why don't you take pictures of it on your Instagram, tag them in it, or reach out to them and see if they'll give you like a sponsorship deal.
Yeah.
Maybe they may not pay you big money, but what it is, you get an affiliate link and then you make some profit off of that. Make you the entrepreneur that does things. That's where Chip Walker, well, this is an episode Chip's name is going to be talked about a lot. Chip is a energy drink sponsored wrestler, and Jay Cross is too.
Yeah. And
they're smart for doing it, man, because they like the product, but they're making money with the product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and you get those affiliate links. I mean, immediately you give people 20% off most of the time with those affiliate links, and then on top of that, whenever they use your link, you get credit. You get part of that pie kind of thing. So it's a win-win if you can get involved with those companies.
Yeah. As stuff. There's things like that when I want to do a Chicagoland, get like a couple of outside of sponsors what we have now, but just like a little couple of corporations where it's like, I would love to get a beer company that would make like a Chicagoland style beer, just our logo on the beer bottle. It'd be awesome as hell, man. I don't even drink.
A microbrewery. I bet you could find a microbrewery to do that.
Oh, absolutely. And there's plenty of them here in Michigan City. Plenty of them. Chicago too.
No, this is it's all real smart ideas. It's all stuff that helps, like I said, helps make your product stand out from others. It's a lot of times it's the little things, and like you said, a lot of times it's like you asked me the question. Circling back, you asked me the question like, what are people not doing? I mean, like I said, it's that they're not promoting. I think that's the number one thing is like you, besides sharing the flyer a couple times, you're not getting the heavy promotion that is needed to really get your product out there. And that's unfortunately what a lot of times what happens. So they'll share a few flyers and expect everybody to show up and be there.
the key most of the time is do what's not expected of you.
Yes.
It's just like I make it a point. Like I was late on it this week, but like I make it a point to cut a promo for every show that I'm booked on, even though everybody else ain't booking one. Don't mean that I ain't doing it. You know what I'm saying? If I'm the only person out of a whole roster of people doing it, I'll prove the point. But at the same time, I stay true to myself and what I am. I'm not gonna miss me all like being possibly the main event or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I might get more money now because I posted a promo when I wasn't even asked to post a promo. You know, you'll never know. Like you could be an official person of that. Like instead of that one time booking, you might be on that shit permanently just because you just posted that one promo. So it's like do what's not asked of you.
No, absolutely. No, yeah, that's 100% right, man. That's it, like you said, going out of your way to make a promo when nobody else is, that'll make you stand out. Absolutely. Like any of that stuff. Like you know, show, you know, like sometimes you put your training videos out there. You hitting, you know, you in the ring, you know, at the gym, you know, working some spots, getting that training in, like showing people that you're out there working. I mean, you know, putting your merch up there. Like when new merch comes out, you're getting your merch up online. You're sharing it on all your social media accounts. You're, you know, hey guys, I got new merch coming out. It'll be at these shows, you know, and then on top of promoting the show, you're promoting your merch, you're promoting yourself. Like win-win. Absolutely. No, that's absolutely the key. And that's the difference between someone who really, really wants it and who's hungry and somebody who, you know, like as John Hudson puts it, plays Halloween on Saturdays.
I'm using that now.
Another guy that's part of that grinder crew, man's John Hudson. You know,
yeah, I mean, he literally does nothing.
Eats, sleeps, drinks wrestling. That's all he does. Eats, sleeps, drinks it, man. You know, goes to the gym every day. You know, he looks like $1 million. He invests in his gimmick. He invested in himself. You know, I mean, you're talking about a dude who fucking hustled, man. Lived in Malibu, California. Came from a family of royalty in music and movies. Like, you know, he's related to Kate Hudson, Goldie Hawn. His dad's Brett Hudson from the famous Hudson brothers. And he left that entire world behind him and lived a homeless life, literally, to live across country to get trained in professional wrestling. Didn't use none of his family's name, didn't use none of his family's wealth, did it on his own. Then went back home, then decided to travel all the way out to North Carolina, got trained down there at High Spots, went back home, then went all the way out in the Midwest, got trained by Angel Armani. You know, like, dude, he's been trained by some of the best people in the world, man. The Ballard brothers, George South, you know, Angel Armani, who's trained a lot of well-known Wisconsin talent. It's like he's put in that fucking grind, man. There's a reason. Yeah. There's a reason why he's in Chicagoland. There's a reason why he got that spot. And he's another one. A guy missed his opportunity. He screwed around on his booking. Screwed up. I have no problem telling the story. A good guy, great talent. I think the world of him, Silver Soul Friends. But he was going through a bad time, so he missed his booking. And me and Michael talked about it, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to fuck around with this. I'm just going to call John Hudson and give him the job. Because John Hudson never asked me for the job, but you could tell he wanted the job. Like he wanted to be part of this company. He liked to share our posts and our stuff for forever. I was like, all right, this dude looks like $1 million.
I remember that phone call. Yeah, I remember that phone call. You're like, Mike, what do you think of him? I said, I'm telling you, I worked with him. The kid, he gets it. The guy, he understands the business. He wants it. He's hungry. This is what he lives to do. I said, you got to give him a shot. Yeah. And that's all history from there.
I mean, if anything, man, he's this area's Rick Rude. You know, he's got the $1 million look. He could sell like $1 million, and then he's good at being a heel. He really is, and he gets it. And to me, easiest phone. I think the easiest conversation I ever had with anybody about getting booked. It wasn't even about money. I was like, opportunity. Yes, sir. I'm right there. What time? That was our entire conversation. It was a yes, sir. I'm there. What time you want me to be there? And do you need me to dress up? You know, professional. Guys can learn from John Hudson. A lot of these young guys around there wondering, how does he get a booking? because he answers his phone and he didn't gripe and bitch about stuff. He wanted that opportunity, so he showed up and he killed it. That promo was fire. Him coming out, that was a whole year of him being pent up, losing bookings over COVID, losing, friends and family and other people going through shit. And he let it all out on TV, man. Killed it. Literally, when those Power 4 TV guys watch that show, they openly looked at that promo and they were like, whoever he was, that was star quality promo. Like he made you want to watch him wrestle. And prime example of, here's the ball, run. What can show me what you can do. Not no, let me guide you, hold your hand, and have to explain a whole year of booking with you. But here's the ball, run. And run until your fucking legs can't carry you no more. Then I'll pick you up and I'll carry you. But run and show me what you can do.
I put the heart in him.
And dude, he fucking did it. He fucking picked that ball up and ran. And still running with it. That's why I think him and Chip Walker's gonna have a throwdown match, man. Because Chip's wants to be in this company real bad. He's working hard to earn it. And John Hudson's been wanting to prove to the world that he's been a top quality talent since day one, and people overlooked him. The match sells itself. Really, look at that backstory of both of those guys. Everybody looks at John and go, "Oh, you're a Hudson." They instantly play off his name, and he always tells people, "Don't use my last name for how I got in wrestling. I got in wrestling on my own merit. I didn't use my family's name to get me anywhere."
No, Hudson had nothing to do with wrestling. I mean, you think about it. He slept on Armani's couch because he had no money, and Armani trained him. So
even before that, man, he slept in the car. He lived in his car. He was homeless, just get the opportunity to train, opportunity to travel. I respect that, man. If John listens to this podcast, straight up, dude, this is respect being paid towards you from all three of us. Guys like that is prime example of, you do whatever it fucking takes to make it in the wrestling business.
I think one thing about our show and about our talent too is we didn't have to handhold anyone.
No,
we literally told people what we needed, what we wanted out of the situation, and they went out and did it. I mean, you put the Sin City Playboys, you threw those guys together. None of those guys would work together. They went out there and killed it. Bo Anderson's out there doing his thing. You got Tully, you got Solomon, then you got Rockstar. They're all playing their role in the group. And just like you said, you don't have to tell them anything. Here's what we want you to do, and they went out and did what they're supposed to do. Everybody on the show did that.
Well, one of the matches that really grabbed my attention was the rookies. You had Fett and Larkin, and didn't have to go through a million things with them. Told them exactly what I expected out of them, what the crowd would probably expect out of them, and they delivered. They delivered a really good match. It was good.
And we put them on early because we didn't know what to expect, because it was two guys hadn't seen much of, and they went out and killed it.
Yeah. Prime example once again. Fett hit me up because he lives here in Michigan City, same town as I do. Outside his little Blackwater Temple thing he's got going on, but he straight up hit me up and he said, "Hey man, I would like to meet up with you. Where are you located?" When he found I was here, he was like, "Oh my God, you live in the same town as I do." I'm like, "Yeah." Dude, he showed up and he was like, I'll do whatever you need me to do. Set up a ring, take down the ring, train, work out, help flyer, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it for you. And dude, he earned his spot, not because of the grunt work, but the performance he put on. Larkin, another guy. 2 years he was at Freelance Academy?
Yeah.
Barely had a match, barely was given a couple of matches. We gave him an opportunity because I had some people tell me, like, dude, he's got a lot of potential, but just a lot of folks don't showcase him. And I'm like, fuck it. Give me the kid. Give me this guy. Let's work with stuff. Talk to him. Me and him bounce ideas back and forth. I saw a picture of him. He had his hand taped. I said, "There's your gimmick." He said, what is it? I was like, "That punch knocks guys the fuck out." Mike Tyson had that one big hook, and he knew when he hits you, you're not getting back up from it. That's you. You're the dude with the concrete hand. You know, I kind of give him the Ronnie Garvin gimmick, the man with hands of stone. You don't have to have a DDT. You don't have to have a lariat. You don't have to do a moonsault. You punch people, knock them out. Mm-hmm. And if you do the gimmick properly, and this is a big booker thing to a lot of guys out there that are learning how to book, a little philosophy. If you have a gimmick, use it. If you have a character that has a gimmick, make them use it every show. And do a knockout finish. Do a finish when a guy is knocked out and the referee's doing the count, or he rings the bell. People go, oh crap, he actually knocked this dude out. And it happens more and more. People look at it and go, dude, that fist has to be illegal. He's got a taped fist or something he's hiding in his hand or whatever it is. And you work off of that. You can build into a taped fist match. You can build up to a last man standing. You can build up to I don't want to say a brawl for all, but you know, that street fight, tough guy mentality, bare knuckle brawler type thing. It could work. In today's world of MMA fans and the world of pro wrestling is going back to its roots of catch and shoot wrestling, a knockout finish is the most believable thing. You knocked a dude out. We watch UFC every week on pay-per-view or every month, whatever comes out on. What's one of the things that we see the most? Someone gets knocked out. Somebody either gets punched out or kicked in the head and they're knocked out. So why can't wrestling have that? Why can't wrestling go back into that believability that a shoot headbutt or a punch in the face could win a match? You know, it doesn't have to be a knockout. You can punch a guy and literally lay him out and you cover him for the pin. Mm-hmm. You know,
and he came out and impressed me on the mic and at the interview too. Like he came out, he had a presence about him. He came out there, he did, you know, he worked it, man. I was extremely impressed. I had never worked with him before, and he came out and he got the job done.
And for a guy who's really young in the business, he gets his gimmick. Mm-hmm. He knows who he is. You know, he doesn't message, you know, me and go, oh, I got 5,000 other ideas. Mm-hmm. He knows his bread and butter. He knows, okay, I'm a 1980s big, rich, cocky, loudmouth dude who can back his shit up by beating people up. And it works. He's a big dude, man. I'll be honest, when the first time I saw him, I thought he was going to be a small guy. I thought he was going to be like 5'8", you know, 190, 200 pounds, whatever. But then I saw him in person. I was like, dude, yeah, okay, you're a heavyweight. You're like legit big dude. You know, I think give him 2 solid years of having matches with a lot of good guys. He's got C-Red now working with him as a manager. I told him straight up, I was like, dude, you're blessed. You have one of the greatest minds, one of the greatest masters of ring psychology, and one of the greatest managers and one of the greatest people you could ever meet, willing to work with you on shows. I was like, pick his fucking brain. Because guys like C-Red there's not a lot of them around. Take him and learn and let him put his wings around you, and dude, you will fly like an eagle within 2 years. Everyone and their brother will try to be booking you.
Yeah. Shit, people are already doing it right now.
That's what I'm saying.
I at least seen them on like 3 or 4 flyers so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All it takes, man. All it takes is one opportunity. All it takes is one opportunity. That's all it is. For guys in wrestling, look at Yo-Yo. Prime example, Yo-Yo put in the miles. Yo-Yo put in the travel. That kid was driving everywhere. From Florida to Chicago to New York and back. And for a while, he was getting left on red by a lot of promoters. And I told him, I said, dude, after this show hits Amazon Prime, it's all these other things, you're the first match. People's going to watch it, and you're going to see you and Miles first. I was like, I guarantee that you'll have promoters hitting you up for bookings after this. Just watch. And sure enough, man, look where he's at now. And it's not because of us. I'm not saying because of me. But that exposure did help more people see him. But now he's on Bloodsport. Now he's working in New York. He's working everywhere on a regular basis, to the point that I already know by 2022, I probably won't have him on my Chicagoland roster anymore, because he'll be signed by AEW or he'll be signed by NXT or New Japan. Either one of those three, I guarantee he'll be signed. And no one, I'd be happy for him because he's fucking earned it.
Yeah, I remember the first time he came to Chicago, he had a boatload of everything. He had him, Janai Kai with him,
Mm-hmm.
and they worked the wrestling show. They traveled all the way from Florida to Chicago to wrestle in the gym, and
For next to nothing.
and it just showed me a lot. I was like, damn, these kids. And this is when I was still like before my first couple of matches. I think this, like, I was probably 1 or 2 matches in. It's like, yo, like they really putting in the miles to drive to Chicago for this dream. And that's what they did. They networked with people because after that, I think he was on a Berwyn show the next day, or the next couple weeks later. He ended up going to a Berwyn show and then did our show. And it's like he was networking with the Chicago people, and then after, next thing you know, he's on something else, and then like you starting to see Yo-Yo on everything now, and they like he's been grinding. It's just one of those things. It's like, oh, how come he gets something like that? No, you don't know how much work that kid puts in.
Oh yeah,
Like
how much he travels. Like you said, how many times he drives up here for next to nothing just to get a booking. I mean, that's the difference.
Shit, man.
I'm
proud of that fool, man.
He's part of that grinder crew, man.
Yeah.
Him and Janaya both, they grind, and they got, and everything they've got, they've earned it. Straight up,
They brought those other guys with them too to the Wrestle League show.
Culture Inc., I think.
Yeah. And look at them now, man. They're starting to get bookings all over the place too.
It was the one guy, Ricky something.
Eli and
Eli and Ricky.
Speedy Ricky.
Yeah.
Speedy Ricky, to me, I haven't heard from him in a while, man. I hope he's okay. He's kind of fallen off social media a little bit. I'm hoping he's okay.
That guy worked the character very well.
Dude, Speedy Ricky is a TV quality wrestler. Straight up.
Eli, that kid is, what is he, like 18 years old?
At the time that me and you saw him wrestle for Wrestle League, he was 18.
Yeah.
He's now, I think, 19 now, I believe. 19 or 20, something like that. Dude, he's got an amazing agility. He's starting to understand less is more. He knows that, he can do flashy stuff, but he knows I don't have to do that every match to get over. I could do a certain thing at one point and it pops the crowd, as kids like that, man, you look at them and you go, I remember when you talk about them 10 years from now when they're on national television,
and then
go, I remember he used to work for us.
There was one more kid that was in that Wrestle League car ride. You already know who he is. Robert Martyr.
Yeah,
that kid.
My quote unquote adopted wrestling son. It's like I tell everybody. Yeah, another kid. Dude, he just turned 20 years old. He's been wrestling since he was like 14 professionally. He worked as a referee. As a commentator, dude, he's like little Joey Styles. He is so good at commentating. But his in-ring work, man, he's like a young William Regal. Like he's really, really good at what he does.
That's good because it's different.
He has that passion. He has that he posted if it's like really, really like when I'm getting chills, I'm reposting it. Like his last promo that he posted, I was, man, like you could see the passion and heart that he has and love for this business that he has in his eyes. And that I think that's missing in a lot of younger wrestlers. They just want to do flips and be on AEW and wild shit like that. Is just like, bro, for an 18-year-old to bring it back to like the basics and the grassroots of professional wrestling, that says a lot. And he might be the forerunner in the revamp of a lot of people's cruiserweight divisions and junior weight divisions.
I'm actually kind of glad you mentioned that, EWOKK, because this week we're announcing our junior heavyweight division.
My baby.
And my first draft pick is Robert Martyr. I want to say this right now. Robert is my number 1 draft pick. Ooh. He's in the same draft pick class with Miles Mercer and Yo-Yo.
Okay.
As 3 junior heavyweights.
Okay.
That I could put them in the ring with anybody, anywhere. I know they'll kill them.
Hey, I'm like 200 pounds now, right?
Yeah. I don't want to. I think when I finally show that belt to everyone, there's gonna be like half the roster go, "Yo," like, damn.
Yeah, hey, you know what? Hey, Ewok drops another 5. He gets all lean and shredded. Next thing you know, he's in the cruiserweight, junior heavyweight division.
He'll win the TV title and the cruiserweight title. And he'll be like the triple crown, 3 belts, walking in. Yeah,
he'll be that smash mouth cruiserweight. He ain't. Hey, no flips here. I'm just gonna punch you in the mouth.
Yeah, and him and Robert Martyr has a tag team called No Fly Zone.
Yeah,
that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
But Robert's a New York kid. You know that, right?
For real?
Yeah.
I thought he lived in Florida.
Yeah. No, he lives in Florida, but he's a New Yorker. He's a New York kid.
Okay.
Yeah, very much the Brooklyn, New York, mentality, Queens and shit. Yeah.
I like him even more now. More now.
The thing about him, man, he's such a humble kid, and I tell this all the time. I said, Robert, don't let this business ruin you. I was like, you're too good for this business at times. I was like, don't let this business ruin your passion.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing because you're going to be a star. And I feel it, man. He's one of those guys, and it's like Miles. I feel this about Miles Mercer. I feel like Miles has been good for so long, but Miles has never been really given the opportunity to be really truly showcased. And I'm really happy for C3 for giving him the run. And I hope he gets it for a good while, because I think Miles makes a great heavyweight champ for that company.
Yeah, most definitely.
Miles is legit. I'm telling you, he's got an it factor to him. There's no doubt.
Dude, his charisma alone, you can't help but he's one of those guys, like, he's good at being a heel, but he's such a likable human being. It's almost impossible to hate him.
He's gonna eventually be a face, and he's eventually gonna be a really good face.
Dude, I'll say this, and I think me and Ewok talked about this. The day that he goes full blown babyface, he'll be one of the most. He'll sell more merchandise than almost anybody on any roster in the Midwest.
Yes, sir.
Trust me, dude. He will sell the fuck out of merch, because he's the most likable, most down to earth, funniest dudes. He's very much. He's like Eddie Murphy of pro wrestling.
Oh,
he is so funny, dude. And I'm like, well, why are you? I always told him, I was like, dude, you're a heel. First time I ever met him, he's like, yeah, I'm a heel. I'm like, but dude, you're so likable. Like, you make a killer babyface, man. He's like, yeah, no one's ever given him the chance to be a babyface. He's always been a heel.
Yeah, he was in. I mean, he started. When he really got his chance was in Crash Test in the ARC, and like I said, he did the whole Kang of the pre-show, and then he joined the ARC, and then he was with C Red. So Red always did all the the heel work, the promos. He never had to do any of that because he had Red with him. So I mean, and then like I said, when he turned on Hudson and cashed in on him, I mean, that made him. And like I said, unfortunately, after that happened, Crash Test never ran again. But he cashed in on Hudson, and it was one of the biggest heel moves, like in the company type of thing. It was like, here they were, a team. Hudson had just gotten laid out after his championship defense. He was laying there, and he looks around and cashes in his ticket on him. I mean, it was just like, that kind of stuff. Like, he could have been a huge star in that company, but like I said, the company folded at that point. But I mean, there was already writing on the wall. I mean, the kid's ready. I mean, he's a lot of talent there. So
yeah,
we didn't. I think trying to think the other match we didn't finish talking about. We talked about Kripke and the Air Country, and they're going up against the Playboys. So that'll be a good one.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you talking about, like I said, we talked a little bit about the Playboys earlier with Bulletproof and Rockstar and Tully and Solomon. I mean, that's a killer group right there. And then like I said, you're going up against Air Country and Kripke. I mean, that match should be pretty good.
Oh yeah, I think so, man. I really do. Because everyone in that match is they know what they're doing. They know what they're good at and what they're not.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be good. It's going to be a good heel versus babyface dynamic, because you got 3 guys that enjoy pissing a crowd off to no end.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love the Power 4 TV guys. And they said when Tully and Solomon came out, you can mute the TV and still feel the heat from the crowd coming through.
Yeah.
And that's a hell of a quote, man. That's a compliment as a heel. You're like, they do their job getting people angry.
Mhm.
And you throw in Johnny doing what Johnny does best, chicken shit stuff.
Mhm.
And you got Kripke, who never backs down from a fight, no matter how big you are to him. And Air Country is two awesome baby faces that can wrestle.
Mhm.
It's good. It's a good old school formula. It
Then we
works.
got another 6-man. We got the 6-man with the ARC, the Miles, Larkin, Red versus
Versus Yo-Yo, Janaya Kai, and it's kind of funny. I got a little heat from certain people about booking Janaya Kai
Mhm.
and that match. They're like, oh, but you book a woman against men. I'm like, have you not seen her wrestle? Like, she's a legit martial artist. Like, dude, she would probably whip all of her asses in a hand-to-hand combat fight. Like, she's trained to fucking put people down. I'm like, bro, it's going to be good, you know.
It's gonna be
And
real good.
even then, you still got a great old school storytelling with that because you have C Red and her, and like Red's going to do what Red does best, and oh yeah, that match is going to entertain the crowd. That the fans are going to have a good time watching that match.
Absolutely.
Good storytelling, man.
I don't know if we know. I don't know if we gave enough love to the tribunal and the No Coast. I mean, the promos that the promos that are being put out like right now in that feud alone has already moved that match up the charts. I think for this show, when was kind of before this started. I think this match was just another match on the card. Now the way that these guys have gotten the story that these two are putting together with tribunal kidnapping people and beating people senseless and tying them to chairs. I mean, this is like gotten so intense that that match alone has moved up the charts.
They went from, and me and you talked about this before,
Mm-hmm.
and this podcast, we all shoot from the hip. We don't BS anything.
Mm-hmm.
When we talked about the teams originally, No Coast was over with the crowd, straight
Mm-hmm.
up, and then they will constantly be over with the crowd. But what was so great about the whole tribunal thing is Paragon's a star of his own.
Mm-hmm.
Paragon knows that. And I think part of it almost kind of aggravates him because as much as he's always about being he's a team player, but he knows that his gift for gab and his appearance sells tickets. And Jace forever, I felt like was kind of lost in the shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
But what Jace is doing now, everyone's talking about that, man, because it's so different. How many guys you see in wrestling will pray for their opponent?
What they're about to do, yeah, what they about to do to him too.
What I'm about to do to you, though, not
Mm-hmm.
pray like Jesus help me. Because we're God. If you're hearing me right now, I'm about to cut this guy up bad.
Mm-hmm.
Stop me, Lord. Stop me now. If you want me to not to do this, you could give me a sign. Strike me down. Do what you need to do, Lord. It's a scene from a film called Night of the Hunter. Guys, who go back in time, watch this 1950s film, starring Robert Mitchum. He plays this preacher who kills people, and on his fist he has love and hate tattooed on his knuckles. And in the one scene when he kills a woman, he looks up at the light, and his light beams down on him, and he's talking to God, and he's like, "Lord, she's been a trifling woman. Give me a sign, and I'll do your bidding." Next scene, the woman's found in a river. So it's like, oh shit, like it's dark. Jace reminds me so much of Robert Mitchum's character doing that it's eerie. It's like you look at a monster, you think Big Chris would be the monster because he's a juggernaut, now legit one. And then you look at Paragon, you think Mr. Gift for Gab, Miami Vice, cocaine dealer looking dude would be the scary one to deal with.
Yeah, and
it's the Jesus boy that freaks you out.
And it's in that dynamic of like it's still two different scaries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the whole group is scary. The whole group will fuck you up. But as a silent one, you have to be very scared of.
And like the promos, the promos, man, is just like I'm loving what our roster is doing. I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but like I started posting just like very cinematic stuff, and everybody else started posting very cinematic stuff, and then like it kind of feeds into the dynamic, because when Xavier puts it all together, now
Movie.
everything has that same consistency, and is almost like we're all competing against each other to have the best quality promos that's awesome. That's awesome as hell.
When you
But
do that, that's when things get really good. When you guys start competing with each other to see who can cut a best promo, then the company wins. At that point,
it's like these fools are kidnapping people now in their promos.
I'm
Like,
telling you, I told John this straight up. I said I didn't know Tribunal to me was lost in the shuffle after their first show. You know, you had Paragon out there. Doing his thing. Like you said, Chris wasn't there, and then you had Jace, which I didn't. There wasn't enough Jace. There wasn't enough. Like we didn't know enough about him. We didn't know. Like he was just kind of there. And I told John, I said something's missing there. But now something's not missing anymore. Now that character's been established, and now they're doing what they're doing, and he's got this new persona.
Star in the making, man.
Change the game.
He's a star in the making. Yeah. I'll say this. It's a podcast about wrestling, so he's one of those guys that I wish all of us lived in the same like town with each other, and we had like our own movie lot type thing where we could like film all of our stuff in like one huge cool locations, like all set up in different rooms. He's one of those guys I would love to see him do. You remember back in ECW when Chris Benoit first got called the Crippler, when he drops Sabu, and it's that black screen, and all you see him doing, he's like rubbing his hands, and he's talking, and he's not yelling, he's just very calm, and he's talking about how he does things. Dude, you could do something like Jace doing that. Instead of Jace, rubbing his hands, talking about what he does. He's talking about the different prayer beads. He goes through the different beads, and he talks about the different enemies, the different victims, the different people over the years that he's put down. And he looks up, and it's like the little beam of light cast over him. And then when he finally looks at the camera, the beam of light goes from like bright to red.
Mm-hmm.
And you just instantly go like, "Yo, bro, like that dude's creepy. Like I don't want to fuck with that dude. There's something about being like ultra religious, and God is on your side, and you're going around and fucking fuck people up." Makes you
it's a whole different dynamic.
Bro, that's a scary dude, man. Yeah. I mean, and I love that, man. I'm with EWOKK, man. EWOKK set the tone for that shit. The very first time he said he did one of his promos, everyone looked at that and they were like, "Okay, that's different." And I'm like, "All right, who's going to step up now?" And I got to give a lot of guys credit, man. A lot of guys took that ball and they ran with it. Got to give You've Gone Wild credit.
Absolutely.
They did location shots. They didn't do the whole sitting in their car with a cell phone. They went to bridges were covered in spray paint. They went to like train yards. They did in the bar, sitting in a bar drinking beer, cutting promo on somebody. But it's a location. That's what Mickey Grant from World Class Championship Wrestling, the guy who pretty much made modern day pro wrestling. And me and Mickey will talk on the phone when we get the chance. And Mickey told me, he's like, what made us different from NWA and from WWF at the time, don't you? I'm like, well, what's that? He's like, location. He's like, we never filmed promos that had to be at ringside. We did them at the Von Erich's Ranch. We did the promos at an old crack house in Dallas, Texas.
Oh yeah.
We did these promos in all these different locations, and made people feel like it was a shoot, and people bought into it. All of this, folks, is believability.
Yeah, there's just little secrets of me that's why, like, reasons why, like, you remember like old Mankind, where he's like always in the boiler room. Like when I shoot my promos, I'm always training in a ring, and like that's my setting, that's my lair, that's my boiler room. So it's just like that's how it is. It's like, all right, cool. Like if I'm cutting a promo against you and I'm in the middle of training, you got to step it up a little bit. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I just like I like locations, man. Now that I got a green screen, I can fuck with the green screen up a little bit. Like I like location.
Oh yeah, no, that like I've even seen. I remember back, years ago in the Chicago area, there was a faction that used to do. They do kidnapping type things, and they end up in like some barn somewhere, and he'd literally like be hay on the ground, and then they'd be torturing somebody, and like that's the kind of stuff that makes a difference. Like people love that kind of stuff. So that's absolutely like when you talk about the location is key. You got some old car in the barn, that's all tore up, and in the background, the guy's sitting there in a chair, and they're smacking him around, and I mean that's just the kind of stuff that stands out.
That works.
And we definitely have to touch on our main event, which we haven't talked about yet, the throw gun versus the Shogun.
Yeah, before we wrap up the show, yeah, let's do that. And that's saving the best for last, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, talking about all of this whole episode's been great, guys, because we dropped knowledge. We talked about different things that I hope young promoters, young bookers, and wrestlers will all listen to about this. We gave praise to our roster for the hard work they've done. We called people for their efforts, and I think it's rightfully deserved. A lot of podcasts is easy to bury people, but I'd rather also this podcast be where we mention people who are doing the right things. We're mentioning the talent that's going out there and doing the job and getting shit done. But yeah, you talking about two guys that pay their dues over the years. Chris Logan, our champion, being the guy that I feel like was the right call to be the representative of Chicagoland, and having him wrestle against D-Ray 3000, who's a Detroit legend, been on TNA, who wrestled full time at one time for TNA, back in the glory days of TNA.
Back when TNA was really good.
Yeah, back when I would watch it like religiously. And D-Ray, man, is another guy, criminally underrated, great talent, holds 4 heavyweight titles in 4 different promotions. Going against Chris, I think Chris holds 3 titles from 3 different promotions. I know he's got ours, if I'm correct, Berwyn Championship Wrestling and Rocket Pro.
Oh, it's Rocket Pro, yeah.
Yeah. So you got the whole Ultimo Dragon thing going on. You got these guys carrying all this gold, and for a long time when Chris became our champion, I thought what would be a cool title for a match. And I started thinking I heard about how D-Ray's doing this whole gimmick now, where it's taken from Show Nuff from Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon, where he's the throw gun. So now we have a 1970s, black exploitation martial arts film main event. You got the throw gun versus the Shogun. You got D-Ray versus Chris. You got a man who will super kick the fucking head off your shoulder versus a guy who will hit you with a spinning back fist. You got 2 guys who are veterans, who are ultra talented, have earned the respect from everyone they've ever worked with. And I feel like it's a match that a lot of people have overlooked. And I feel like if they do, they're dumb for doing it, because one, that title for that main event alone is catchy as hell. Every time I ever mention to anybody, oh, well, the main event's the throw gun versus the Shogun. Absolutely. And everybody's like, dude, that sold me right then and there. That sounds cool. I got to see this. But I almost jokingly want to do I don't know if you guys ever watched The Last Dragon. I know EWOKK probably has.
Oh, come on, dog.
I'll say, man, it's one of the greatest martial arts film ever.
So I used to reenact the fighting scene at the end at the club with the little kids breakdancing and shit.
Sounds about right.
Chris Logan will get the power of the glow.
Hey,
fight back for Ogun.
You should get the dude that played Black Dynamite and have him ref.
Oh, Jamal White.
Yeah.
Or Michael J. White, I think his name was.
Yeah,
dude, that'd be badass, man. Or Bruce Leroy.
He's somewhere doing drugs or something. I think he was heavy on the drugs. I think he's still on I think he's
That's
having some.
sad, dude. Because like, he's a legit martial artist in his own rights, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if he's sober or not, but like I know he's had problems, and there was supposed to be I saw something. There was supposed to be a second one. There's supposed to be a whole series of them, but he got big and got into some shit, you know, and the second one never happened. So
That's sad.
yeah, but if he's clean and whatever, hey, bring him in.
Mm-hmm.
This is another lesson, kids. Don't do blow. Don't get high off your supply. At the end of this podcast is some fucking Scarface references. Where it's like advice to you rookies, you know, if you're gonna get high off your own supply, don't do it. You know, like oh god, dude, it's so wrong. We're all going to hell. But
Yeah,
you know,
like I said, that man's gonna be killer. People better not underestimate that for sure, because it's.
I'm looking forward to it, man. It's actually one of the things that Matt Creed from You've Gone Wild mentioned when we mentioned that match. He's like, dude, that match alone's worth the price of admission. He's like, D Ray's such an entertaining dude, and Chris Logan's such a believable badass because he is one. That's just going to be a great match.
And the weird part about this whole card, every single match has a group of fans attached to it.
Yeah.
My match especially, you have at least 10 to 12, maybe 15, even more people that are excited about that match. You have the Shogun Frogun. You have a group of people excited about that match also. And it's just like everybody's excited about something on this card. So that like, and we ain't even there, man. We ain't even at April yet. And like the promotion of this is gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger. And
yeah, just think if it's gonna heat up. Like we've only just begun the surface. I mean, now you're talking. We're within. We start getting within 2-3 months of the show. Then the pressure gets, you know.
And plus, like these people are buying these tickets online at rapid pace, and it's just like, all right, cool. Like this is at a point where people can't even walk to the door and ask for tickets.
We've literally almost pretty much sold over 100 tickets already. And dude, I haven't put up. I just today I actually officially put up some flyers.
Yeah, that's without flyering. That's without any kind of flyering.
Shit, there's a football field across the street. That's all I gotta say.
We're gonna work there one day.
That's actually one of my goals, man. I told this to the owner of the Legion, or not the owner, but the commander. I was like, my goal one day is to do this thing called Michigan City Day, and we get the town people on board. We do live music, food trucks, and wrestling, and we do it right there at that football stadium. Back that house, back that field, and just into this be one big ass block party. That's how I want it to be. I want it to be like a pro wrestling block party. You go here for some barbecue, you go down here for some tacos, go here for some good beer, and then you got some good wrestling, a little bit of hip hop, some rock, some country, a little mix of a little bit of everything people might like, and just have a good fucking time, man. Because people just go there and enjoy themselves. Because you know the thing about 2020, man, none of us can enjoy ourselves. Not many people did. So for people who actually are, you know, we're getting the vaccinations, where people are getting clear to be able to go out and work again, be able to go out and do stuff again. And here's the thing too, guys. We're currently right now the only event in Michigan City. The entire town for the entire year right now, currently, we are the only event going.
Yeah, so they're starving for entertainment.
So think about this. We're the only entertainment in town.
Yep.
As a matter of time, as much as I love the Legion, I do consider the Legion our home base. But it's a matter of time. We'll have to find a bigger venue to run shows. We have to. I mean, the last show, we literally had people buying tickets to stand.
Yeah. And we have opportunities. There's that one place that seats about 4,000 in that I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's in Michigan City. Yeah. So there's places to go. I mean, like I said, the football stadium is another place. And I think, you know, obviously we might have some ins over there to potentially do that idea you're talking about and continue to grow and continue to, just keep getting bigger. And like I said, home base will always be the Legion. I mean, it'll always be, like I said, there's a special vibe there for the TV tapings. But I mean, the sky's the limit when you keep working hard and you keep grinding. The sky's the limit. We can probably,
And most importantly, people around you having the same grind, if not more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There's not one person that's on this in the locker room that's slacking. Nobody's slacking. Everybody's working hard.
Yeah. I mean, if it's them sharing flyers, them flying for me, they're talking to people, they're doing what they need to do, they do it. I mean, it's why I handpicked this roster, man. I know hustlers when I see them. And to me, if you have a group of hustlers working together as a team, you win. You look at any sports team, they had guys that put in the work and they constantly were upping their game. They win championships.
You know what I'm saying? I'm BJ Armstrong.
Dude, BJ Armstrong was one of my favorite Bulls of all time. I love that.
Yeah. Shout out to BJ Armstrong, by the way.
Yeah. Now he's an agent.
I want to laugh if he actually gets a hold of this podcast. He'd be like, "Thanks for shout out, guys."
Hey, next thing you know, he's representing EWOKK. He's EWOKK's agent. Next thing you know.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Well, that was a good drop.
His work with EWOKK be like, he wants this type of food, he wants a Tennessee, and he has had some white women, so.
Have them peppered in on the side.
Yeah, on the side. Yeah,
on the side.
My first ever interview with EWOKK, that's what I get. That was so funny.
Dude, I knew right then and there, like when he did that promo, he was like, "Yep, I got to book this guy." I don't, because that alone right there had me and dude. And I love my mother-in-law was sitting there, right? And he cuts that promo, and she said right after, she's like, "Yeah, that's how I was actually conceived." And it's like a black dude, a white woman, some Hennessy got passed around, and all good shit happened.
It was like, fried chicken. God. Was it what? That was chicken wings, Hennessy.
And white women peppered
in. White women sprinkled in, yeah. I'm sitting here trying to keep a straight face, Mean Gene style, and this guy's talking crazy next to me.
Oh, funny as hell, man.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was good. That was real good. Looking forward to some new interviews this time around too. I'm going to get a little Marche interview, a little Logan interview. I mean, we're going to have some guys I didn't get to actually work with last time, so that'll be good. I'm looking forward to that too.
I'm just looking forward to. I'm looking forward to this whole year worth of shows, man. We got June 12th, August 21st, October 16th, November 20th for our 4 big tapings. And I might me and EWOKK's also talking about doing something with the Wrestle League gym to do a show with them.
Be prepared. I got a little something up my sleeve.
I'm liking it. Oh, I think it could be really good. I mean, even if it's working with them, or if it's a empty arena, whatever we decide to do, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be real good.
Yes, sir.
I like what's going on. I like the gym you guys work out over there. Everything I've seen from them, it seems to be real nice over there. Real hard working guys in that gym. Even like you said, even at the Wrestle League show, I had a great time. I thought the product was good. I had fun. We had a lot of talent on the show. And I'd love to even work some stuff with them. And like I said, I know John and I will be sitting front row at a lot of those shows. Scouting the talent over there and seeing the new up and comers that are working at Wrestle League. And yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun moving forward for sure. We got. Like you said, things start opening up again, more and more people get vaccinated, we're, have more chances to go to some shows and see what other talent we can add, other talent that is Chicagoland, worthy. Like, as we say, like, we handpicked this roster. This roster was not just anybody, and, anybody just showed up here. I mean, it's, everybody's, we take a look at it and we make them fit in what we need. It's not, we're just bringing a bunch of guys in to bring them in, so.
It's a mix, in my opinion, of guys I feel like are future stars of tomorrow, mix in with veterans that are stars of today, but they're willing to, like Vic, You know, he's the guy who's willing to pass that torch to the next guy, and he's willing to be the sensei, master, teacher. You know, let me help you get to the dance. You know, I've had my chance to dance. Now it's your turn to be that guy. You know, for every wrestling company to be successful, you have to have that formula.
Mhm.
You know, you have an entire roster of guys who have been doing it for 30 years. Yeah, you're going to have a great show for the most part. But the problem is you don't have that young blood. You're not going to have a future. And to me, you know, we're going to wrap this up in a few seconds here, but the way I look at it is like a sports team, man. It's like hockey.
Mhm.
You know, you could have an all-star roster team full of veterans and have good captains, but if you don't have that farm system that's grooming the next future, you know, superstar, it's not, you know, you gotta produce the next people who's going to take the team and go.
Yeah,
With
otherwise,
us,
otherwise you only go as far as the current roster, and then you're done. Then you're done. You're in a lot of trouble. Like look
I'm
at the
only
Bulls. What happened to the Bulls for years? Because
yeah,
they rode out that title run and they had no future stars, and they struggled for years to get back to relevancy.
yeah. I mean, and to me, yeah, I ran one show at Chicagoland, but the thing was, I had from 2019 all the way through 2020 to plan stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured, okay, I sit on my ass and let COVID, you know, ruin everything I worked on. Or during his downtime, I could put in all that work and all that hustle and collaborate with other promoters, you know, work with people. Um, thank EWOKK for the collaboration with Wrestle League, because he's the one who actually hooked me up with Lewis. Me and Lewis always had mutual respect, but it was a big help.
Mm-hmm.
And now me and Lewis is like real good friends. So, and you know, and Lewis understood what my whole thing was. It wasn't, you know, this and that. Is more of, all right, you always said your thing is a school first, company second. Well, let's use this school to help build up the next big stars for Chicagoland. You know, where they're ready to go. You know, so it's all about laying down that groundwork
Yes, sir.
to
But
make
just think
success
about it.
happen.
Think about some of our guys that have been on TV. Now they go back and they work a match at Wrestle League, and that benefits Wrestle League. You know,
Think
one of our guys goes back and says, you know, oh hey, this next show we're gonna feature from Chicagoland, you know, whatever's gonna come over and work a show. Then all of a sudden we get the eyes on the Chicagoland fans, eyes on the Wrestle League product. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
Like I said, you and I will be at most of the shows, scouting talent, looking at what's next, what the next, you know, big star in the making could be, or what the next feud we could put together. Or I mean, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
That creepy girl can scare me again.
It's like Disney Plus, but with wrestling.
There you go. I love it.
Oh my god. I still love your little Disney promo you did. Like, it's Disney, you know. With
the blunt, and I had the Dom Perignon in my hand.
Dude, that was
Some of those videos,
so fucking goofy. I love it. It was so funny.
You know
Blue's Clues. I mean, this dude's crazy.
Yeah, I got another one coming, but I can't say nothing about it. You know.
I understand. Hey, you gotta let it pop. You want to be everybody be surprised. I still love the what was that one? Who's that? Was it a Pokemon one or something you did?
Oh, yeah. It was like, who's that Pokemon? And you think it's a real Pokemon, and I pop up. It was like real ass nigga. That's who it is. And like I did that at the gym, just me being random. And next thing you know, this shit got like 3,000 shares.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it became like an internet meme for like it was like, oh, I remember when it first got shared. I'm like, what is he doing now? I saw it's like, okay, that's funny. Like, I don't care. And my wife and brother-in-law are Pokemon players. So they saw that, dude. They lost their shit. They thought that was the funniest thing they ever saw. And next thing you know, like he said, like it was like 3,500 people.
Yeah, it was all over the place.
Shared it, and I was like, oh my god, you know.
EWOKK, the master of Halloween costumes too. I'm waiting for the next one on that.
Oh, bro, it's
always on point.
Now we're getting it because the Dominican Spider-Man, he's got a revamp coming. There's all different types of stuff, man.
Oh,
I'm gonna be I had an idea, like I'm gonna be a possum, but like you remember when Michael Jackson turned into the werewolf in Thriller?
yeah.
But like I'm gonna be a possum with the same outfit. These Michelob Ultras are kicking in.
Oh,
All right, guys. Well, wrap it up. This is JB from the EWOKK and JB show with my homie EWOKK, our best buddy, Moneymaker Mike. From all of us, peace out. Check us out on Johners Podcast Network, Spotify, Anchor FM. Just type that shit in Google and you'll see us up on there and you're going to have a good time, some education, most of all, a good laugh.
And you already know how I like to close it out with peace.
thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.